You know what? Last week's show didn't really make it. It only had 7 views, and I think this is the image thing. Bring it back. If we can get 9, I'm gonna say we won the demo of the internet.
Well, I did
Or
ask people on the last
99.
video. I did ask people on the last video to go click on it, and they seemingly have because that video has gone up into the 20s.
I don't know what happened with last week. That was dramatically bad. But it was Royal Rumble Saturday. I was thinking people had to get their snacks or not watch this and watch real pre-shows or something. You know. Hey, did you watch the Rumble?
I did.
What are your thoughts on the Rumble or this matchup that, led to this?
I thought the women's Rumble was better than the men's Rumble. I can understand the frustration. Don't you want to ask me this question of the show, Marcus?
Well, you're supposed to tease the folks.
But we're not.
Oh, wait, you wait to my option until we get to the show.
Oh, we already live? I didn't even realize we was live, man. I was just staring at Charlotte and Ronda. I didn't know it was live. I mean,
man, you need. I told you, man, you need to watch out. You'll catch a case.
I think the biggest problem that the Rumble had is that it was hard to follow the very first match. I thought Roman and Seth told an excellent story, and despite the ending of the match, the ending was appropriate for how much Seth had got into Roman's head, and he wanted him to, to attack. Damn, the first comment is spam. My numbers are gonna be high this week.
Shout out to the chat. The chat.
The women Rumble was fun. I thought Sasha being Sailor Moon was amazing. The little standoff between her and Melina was fun.
Little. You blink, you would have missed it.
True. From Sonya putting it on Cameron. I mean, she did everybody. She did God's work. I mean, it was, I appreciate it. The men's Rumble was a complete farce because how did Brock get into the Rumble? Let alone how did he get 30?
Here's my question, Manny. How many pictures do you have for this show?
This is it.
Whatever can move the numbers, Marcus.
The needle mover. But that's what I thought.
Yeah, too bad he didn't get to fulfill what he was in store for dumbass. But he did.
He moved and he made him flinch. He made Gunther flinch.
Yeah, he made Gunther flinch.
All right, you guys ready to start the show and talk about all this nonsense and wrestling?
Marcus, I'm ready to hop into the show like Grayson Waller did over that barricade.
I mean, that was sweet. But we'll be back right after this.
Welcome, everybody, to the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. I am Eric.
I'm Lord Manny Hayes, a.k.a. Thirst Trapper Jones.
And I am Marcus the Grand Finale. And we're ready to talk to you about the historical moments of wrestling today.
Why does it sound like your mic is so far away from you?
Because I feel like his mic changed again when you rolled the opening. But
can you hear me now?
Now you sound better. Are you going to hold it like that?
No, I'm going to set it down right now. But I want to talk right into this microphone and let the world know.
He's caressing you.
That explains why he's single. That was a pretty aggressive caressing right there. But Marcus,
did I love you? Did not.
But Marcus, I have a question because in a pre-show meeting, you're discussing how you're trying to update the logo and stuff for the audio version of the show, the podcast, and all that. But Marcus, we probably need to have an update for the opening of the video because let's just say we have all lost a lot of weight since that opening show because I look fat, you look fat, Manny look fat. I don't think Thirst Trapper Jones needs to be looking the way that he's looking right then and there. That's when he was unseasoned as a host of the Untitled Manny and Marcus show that airs on Thursdays. And also Retro Raw.
To go with that song, I feel like this is the only intro I can ever create.
I mean, all you do is have to change up the images.
You do, Marcus.
No.
J.K. Switch says, good morning, evening, in honor of
Black History Month.
Oh, Black History. I didn't know what the acronym stand for.
Wow.
Damn.
Oh.
Good. In honor of Black History, but not only do I want to say fuck Hulk Hogan, I was also like to add, and I hope he burns in hell.
No, you gotta say no. You did that. You didn't do that justice. Say it.
Hold on.
Say it like
Samuel Jackson.
Say it like
Manny,
Samuel Jackson.
I'm trying to conserve my energy, so if anybody else
And
would
I
like
hope
to say
he burns in hell.
Okay, there you go.
And I would like to add, and I hope he burns in hell.
I'm just glad you didn't try to have me reenact it with the voice I used when we had that epic chat feud.
Daniel Price.
Daniel Price. I'm coming for your ass. Shout out to Daniel Price and for that. So, gentlemen, let's just start off right now with Friday Night SmackDown, because Friday Night SmackDown gave us absolutely nothing but a show that went through the motions. It went through the motions, and that's all it was. I mean, we got our explanation of how the Tribal Chief and Paul Heyman became reacquainted. And I'll start with you, Thirst Trapper Jones. Do you accept the explanation that Paul Heyman gave to the world?
Before Thirst Trapper Jones chime in and you finish that sentence, I need you to put respect on his name and call him Lord Thirst Trapper Jones. He didn't lose his title of Lord, okay? He may have changed his name, but he still remains.
Manny, let me strike that question because I have a more important question. I know I said I wasn't going to jump to the past, but I'm jumping to the past because you are the Lord of Thirst Trapping. This week on NXT, the Kia Lyons got a package. She got a package of her working in the studio or whatnot.
No,
so
she's holding a package.
Betty, how did you feel with the introduction of the Kia Lyons to the masses of the 600,000 plus that watch NXT on Tuesday night?
Have you ever heard of that phrase, Eric? Sometimes you should be seen, not heard. That's exactly what the vibes I got. She should never speak. She should never, ever speak. And then to go, my mother was a groupie. My dad played bass. What the fuck?
That threw me a loop in that one.
Hey man, it was nothing but like seeing Iggy Azalea, Ali J wrapped up into a wrestler. If she can wrestle, that's all that matters. But I was like,
she's got
kicks.
She's got kicks. So
Marcus, do you think she could spit the hot fire like Dylon, the Kia Lyons? Where I feel like her last name was stolen from Empire, the defunct show, when they had the Lyons family. But that's just me.
Also, that true, and then also La Femme Nikita.
La Femme Nikita, yes.
Raw every single week.
I would say
be in commercials.
I would say as Thirst Trapper Jones, she's miles ahead in ring than B-Fab, who I feel like she's stolen the gimmick. I feel like she's stolen the gimmick of in the entire Hit Row.
Honestly, if they brought Hit Row back, and I'm just saying, what was the big dude name? Oh, Top Dollar. You bring Top Dollar and pair him with the Kia Lyons, it would make so much more sense as a faction than what they had before. And no, I'm not bringing back Ashanti the Adonis or Marcus Boy Swerve Scott. And shout out to the two spammers, baby. Y'all just increasing the views. Keep it coming. Spam.
This is one show I wouldn't waste my time spamming.
But jumping back into SmackDown, now Marcus, Tara asked Manny about the Kia Lyons because I know that's where his heart is at, because he is a thirst trapper setting traps around the world for the thirst people out there. Marcus, how did you feel with the explanation of Paul Heyman and the Tribal Chief?
Well, I thought that, one thing I enjoy in wrestling is a good old-fashioned explanation of why things happened the way they did. It's not really a good one. There's never really been a good one. But if we call Retro Raw when Paul Bearer was explaining Kane's turn on The Undertaker or whatever, when they feel like they have the puzzle together and it still makes less sense as they do it. I believed everything Paul said. I believed everything he said. And I thought it was a good explanation. Brock is an idiot with a stupid haircut and a ponytail, and he didn't understand that Paul Heyman really did love it and respect his tribal chief more than he thought he did.
Marcus, in the same vein, Paul Bearer was justifying murdering the Undertaker after the Royal Rumble. There's no way you could justify murder like that.
Well, that was a full confession. I wish all confessions could be that way.
But based
why
on
did you
Paul,
why did you kill your wife, sir? Well, let me tell you something, Undertaker.
but based on Paul Heyman's explanation, gentlemen, if Brock didn't get greedy and decide to take his talent to SmackDown, Paul Heyman would have still been employed, but unhappy with Brock Lesnar. Manny, do you think it was really that of much of an unhappy home for Paul Heyman with Brock Lesnar?
You could tell a few weeks ago when Brock was on SmackDown when Brock talked down to Paul, and then Roman was like, "Hey,
shut up, Paul."
Don't talk to him like that." Paul was living in a broken relationship. He gone back to the old partner, and he realized how bad it is over there.
That was hilarious. No, don't talk to him that way. Don't talk to him that way.
No, like the thing about it though, like to WWE's credit, and shout out to, although WWE has been getting so much flack for about what they do and how they do it, they turned $1 billion in revenue, whether it's by means not necessarily people see approval, but me being a stockholder, I'm like, hell yeah, turn that profit, baby. Release Keith Lee.
You have one stock. You have one stock.
Manny, that's more stock than you got. Okay,
That's true.
Yes.
But when you say I'm a stockholder, you're saying it in singular. Most people, when they say I've got stock, have loads of stock.
Manny, you're right. You know what? I think on this day, I see clearly. I shall buy me another piece of stock inside of WWE so I can actually be plural. So I'm stockholder. But what I enjoyed about
this owning stock in WWE, Eric, now that you're going to invest more, now that you're an investor, do you plan on now sitting in on conference calls because you own 2 pieces of stock?
I don't think I have enough stock to do it, but I believe I can. They will send me an invitation where they have a stockholders meeting. And if you guys need me to be a reporter on that day, if I'm not working at my real job, I have no problem sitting in, and maybe I could ask the question to Vince. Vince, do you think you could support a black podcast?
No, that shouldn't be a question. The first question should be, Vince, why you go so hard on Martin Luther King Day? Why is that so? Somehow, no, you go hard. Hey, I mean, I've seen WrestleMania video packages. I've seen you glorify Tyson. I've seen all these storyline packages, but none of them compete with the Martin Luther King patches that happens every year.
And the evolution of that Martin Luther King package. Incredible. Because when we watched the first one in 98, it was like an image. It was like an image of Martin Luther King. And then it's evolved into, I feel like the video gets longer and longer every year.
Let me tell you, I'm going to tell you why, Vince, because of something that is sweeping the nation. It's called stock footage. There's so much more stock footage available. You can really stretch these trailers out. But
I think at one point it's going to be 1 hour. The first hour Raw is going to be the Martin Luther King package. That's where we're going to be at 2030. It's just going to be all Martin Luther King package.
One half of Retro Raw. Ross Bell says, every evening, gentlemen, what's good? You know, you can check out Retro Raw on every Friday. Where, you know what? I'm going to go back to SmackDown. I keep getting sidetracked. Let me ask you guys, both of you, because Marcus has been on multiple episodes of Retro Raw.
Raw's Retro.
Or Raw's Retro, whatever. Are you finding it more enjoyable than the current product, revisiting the old product? And if so, why? Manny, since you started with whatever the show is called, that I can't remember because I want to call it Raw Retro, but I think it's Retro Raw.
Raw is Retro. Yeah.
Goldfish.
You don't even know the product. You don't even know the product.
Shane didn't know the product either. That's why his ass was fired.
It's actually more fun to watch. It's actually more fun to watch because you kind of know where the direction is going. It's just that you only remember key bits, so you're filling in the blanks, and you go, "Oh, these blanks ain't that good." Like I've watched multiple Jackal segments, multiple. I don't need to watch Don Callis now, and I don't need to watch him in the past.
Imagine getting them on both days, like for each.
So, like, because this week on SmackDown, I would say that Natty was the Jackal. I had too many Natty segments that I just didn't need. I was like, we need to stop this with Natty. Just stop.
Yeah, but you heavily praised Natty a few weeks ago, and it also features in our most recent video, the best of January video. Make sure you check that out.
Yeah.
Damn.
Can I also say, you may complain about Natty Neidhart being in so many segments this week, but she is a Guinness Record world holder, and Guinness World Record is responding to her. Therefore, she will be in a book of 2023, apparently.
Who buys
I'm
that?
100%.
Who still buys that?
67-year-old people, man.
Well, I think
Or
because they're going to add Natty in there, we're going to get maybe 3 or 4 wrestling fans that's going to buy that thing. It's going to increase their product by at least 4%.
You may ask who buys it. I can give you a good person, probably Bill Goldberg, because he's old enough to know what that means. And he came down to the ring and he acknowledged Roman briefly.
Wait a minute.
That was an unnecessary shot there.
Yeah,
it's called a transition, Betty. And then he acknowledged Roman, but then acknowledged that he was going to kick his ass on the Saudi's dime. And Marcus went to the mid-card mess, and he was posted for the last couple of days. He was very opinionated, but he decided to point out the benefits and the positive nature of this match that Goldberg has made.
Whoa. I never said this was
give
a
this
positive
man full
thing
screen
at all.
because he's about to do this. Go ahead, Marcus. Speak to us. Oh, well, I got full screen.
Well, Manny's a racist.
He got confused. We are the Uso twins, man. What can I say?
So let me go back to what you said, Eric. I did not, and I repeat, did not praise the booking decision of what they did in making them the number 1 contender. However,
he's backing
I
on
can
up them
defend
tracks.
it. No, I can defend it. I will defend it. And number 1, Goldberg defeated Bobby Lashley twice, the current WWE champion. Therefore, he is in line for a title shot. 2, he never got his match at WrestleMania, whatever number, when Roman decided to back out due to COVID scare. And he ended up losing his title because he had an opponent on short notice. So he never got that rematch. He never got the rematch for the Universal title. And 3, ladies and gentlemen, this is the best defense ever. And I'm going to use my middle finger to describe it out of all the countdown. Bill Goldberg's contract is up after this match. This will be his final match. And I am happy that it's done. We have 2 minutes left of Goldberg to deal with. If we could just get through these next 2 weeks, we never have to hear the chant of Goldberg ever again. This is his final match. So if we can get this out the way right now, instead of having him have a match at WrestleMania, I am 200% in favor of this match happening in Saudi Arabia.
So the last time we saw him, though, was in Saudi Arabia, where he got destroyed
He never left.
by the almighty Bobby Lashley.
He built a camp. He didn't leave.
So technically, he's coming off a massive L.
No, he beat Bobby Lashley. Remember in the street fight, and he killed him.
Did he?
Yeah, he speared him off the stage. He killed Bobby Lashley. Remember?
Why is it in my brain that I thought Bobby Lashley won that? I hope
because
Bobby
Manny, you wanted Bobby Lashley to win.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley wasn't the champion at that time. He had already lost his title to Big E, and so they could do this match and give Goldberg the win.
Manny, you can read that one. Go ahead.
The princes. Why are you refusing to read that? The princes in Saudi who are requesting these old dogs every year have been watching our rival show, Nitro is Retro.
I mean, I think the best thing about the Saudi shows, Manny, I would think you would agree, is that you guys get it at a time that's actually convenient for you guys over there, unlike for us.
Yeah, but watching a live breakfast show, I would enjoy it. Like if you guys it's 9 a.m., I would enjoy that.
Yeah, it's really sweet. You get your eggs and bacon together. Yeah, oh, it's juicy. You pull up and you watch Matt Riddle ride a camel to the ring. Maybe Orton gets to do a camel this year or this week.
So Eric,
Manny,
we were gonna say we're gonna do the watch along for the next Saudi show on the 19th, which is a Saturday. Do you want to take part? Also, do we still do a show afterwards?
I don't think I always feel like if you guys are doing a watch along, then it should never be no show.
Do you want to participate in said watch along in the Saudi Arabia edition?
Nah, because if you guys do that, I might go on another vacation there. You know.
Oh, I see.
Because I'm the one. I'm the one.
By the way, I'm coming into the Saudi show with blood on my hands. My hands are just gonna be painted red. Just watching
That's just
it.
racist, Marcus. And like that one guy called
That's
you
not
racist.
racist.
Yeah, that guy
called-
called us
He's
out and
racist.
called me Spanish for some
And
reason.
called him no, he called you Mexican, Manny. He called you Mexican.
Yeah, he did.
He just looks a
Overall,
little bit
Manny,
like Hector.
are you excited about Roman
I am Hector.
versus? Are you excited about Roman versus Goldberg?
No, I didn't want to see this 2 years ago at WrestleMania 36. I definitely don't want to see this now. But if this is the end of the road for Goldberg, sure, let's have it. But I was hoping, because Big E wanted it, and Goldberg is his favorite wrestler, maybe we just had Big E versus Goldberg. Because we also get that sad news that Big E's single run, allegedly, is over. And I blame Xavier Woods for this.
Well, you can blame a lot of factors. Brock, Goldberg, Ronda, Xavier Woods, Big E himself as well. And as I spoke to Eric off camera on a undisclosed phone call that will be redacted, Big E cost Big E by, or the WWE screwed Big E by not having the talent around him to feud with. Like, when you look at his rogues gallery of people to feud with, you're actually rooting for the people against him, whether it's Brock, Seth, who's ridiculous right now, and then they had nobody else in that title picture. So I blame the thin roster that they have, and they need to merge the rosters together, and they need to get Randy Orton and Riddle and all these other people on both shows who are actual stars.
See, I think the
potential
biggest
stars.
problem about Big E's run, in my opinion, is very similar to Drew McIntyre. Like, he's liked well enough, but as Marcus alluded to, he's not liked more than the people who he had to face. And it's not like the Kofi Kingston short run where everybody loved Kofi. So
Kofi
in
was
most
6
matches,
months. He has 6.
he has 6, but in most matches, you're cheering Kofi in a situation to overcome all the odds. I just think that Big E was champion at the wrong time, unfortunately. I'm going to fast forward through some things on SmackDown because I don't think we need to talk about the makeshift matches between Sheamus, Ridge Holland, Ricochet, and Cesaro. We didn't really need that. I guess we'll talk about the next big thing, in my opinion, that took place. That had to be Sami Zayn crashing the Jackass premiere, being kicked out by Johnny Knoxville. Manny, is this leading us to a match at WrestleMania between Sami and Johnny Knoxville? Is that where we're headed to? Because I feel like it is.
I hope not. All reports were leading to that this Jackass thing was a one and done thing at the Royal Rumble. But if this proves to be a success, I guess we're gonna have to see it again, and I don't want to, because that whole Jackass thing is gonna be over. The hype for that will be over February.
Well, the #1 movie in America, Manny, right now will be Jackass, or in the world.
Yeah, until something else comes out.
And then don't forget, in 2 months, digital copies come out, so they can re-promote it again as if it's coming out and going to whatever streaming service it's going to.
No,
you understand the business about it. But with that being said, I am in support of Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania. It is that celebrity match you can have. Johnny seems like he's down to do a bunch of bumps. And because the release of Shane McMahon, we need somebody to fall off something high at WrestleMania. And who better than Johnny Knoxville?
And we know in 2 weeks, because Sammy was gold on commentary between the Nakamura Jinder Mahal match. But I kind of feel on February 18th or February 19th, Sammy's going to reclaim his Intercontinental title, and it's going to be him and Johnny for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. I see that. I see it written in the stars. I just see it that way. And then maybe Boogs and Nakamura go off to pursue tag team glory, because the Viking Raiders ain't the answer. They just ain't the answer. They ain't. And shout out to whoever fucked up Boogs' guitar this week.
That was funny. That was the funniest moment of the week. McAfee covering for Boogs. It was like, he's playing his hideout. I've never heard him play this good.
No, the best thing about McAfee this week was when he was wearing all of Sheamus' stuff.
Yeah.
And he said it feels kind of bad, but it's okay.
He never felt more like his father, Pat McAfee, in his life, which was hilarious.
Patrick O'McAfee.
Even though I wasn't a fan of this SmackDown, Pat McAfee does make a lot of bad segments really enjoyable. I'm just
Yeah,
saying, he really saved something like, I don't want to see this, or when he's critical of the Happy Folk or the Nakamura stuff, and just the random things that's going to come out his mouth of talking about stock revenue on Facebook. It's all about how people going to fall out. He really saved segments, but it wasn't enough this week to save the SmackDown.
So clearly, one of the few segments I enjoyed on it was the segment between Naomi, Sonya, and Adam Pearce. I mean, Naomi has another title match against Charlotte, but I think in so many ways, this was just to remind us, because I'm pretty sure at any second, at any moment, we're going to find out that Ronda Rousey is suspended for putting hands on a WWE official, because when she attacked Sonya at the end of the show, Sonya was wearing her coat. And the rule is, if she's wearing the coat, she is not prime for target. And then Manny, I know you were fairly disappointed in that segment because you knew Ronda Rousey was not going to get the true form of Charlotte because she had those straps on her feet, and you can't kick those off to become barefoot Charlotte. Am I right, Thirst Trapper?
Sometimes you got to keep the beast within. Restraint.
That was Charlotte showing discipline and mercy to Ronda this week, thinking like, oh, she don't want this smoke. She ain't ready. She saw me on one level, but she hasn't seen my final form with these bare feet.
I'm surprised she even tried to go for a clothesline. Was like that.
That's impressive. Ridiculously freak athlete.
So, Mark,
where are we at?
I'm going to ask you this question. Did you prefer the interaction between Charlotte and Ronda Rousey on SmackDown, or the interaction between coked up Becky, or as Ronda called her, Rebecca, on Raw?
You use my government name on me. I preferred the Raw in which Becky Lynch, because Becky Lynch is hilarious on the microphone. You gonna call me out using my government name?
You my government name.
You call me my government name, huh? Call me Rebecca in front of these people. You think you're a big shot, huh? But
to be fair, that's Eric's gimmick. That is Eric's gimmick.
Calling people by their government name and talking about their kids.
Liberty's mom, Patrick. Patrick is the Velveteen Dream, if you didn't know.
I only call people by their government name when they get in trouble with the law.
Hey, guess what, Benny? I'm not going to call Phil by his government name this week because I respect what Phil accomplished this week.
You talking about Phil Brooks?
Who was the only one Phil I know? It's not Uncle Phil.
May
he rest in peace.
Which is my favorite pun name of all time. Did not realize it until I was in my well 20s that was a pun name. But where were we? We're up.
You were trying Phillip to. But I don't. Philip Banks. I get
you
it.
You just now get this?
Yes, Marcus.
Because I got that in my 20s. I've said it out loud. I was like, Philip Banks. Oh shoot, that's a cool name.
I mean, Ross wants the Ronda run to be short-lived, and I agree. She ain't ready on the mic. But Marcus, what segment you about to explain to us why Rebecca and Ronda was your favorite segment?
Well, it seems like that's the match I would have went with. Like it hasn't been resolved from WrestleMania 35 in New York, in which Ronda's shoulder was up, and it was controversy behind that, and that's how the title run of Becky Lynch begun. Her whatever amount of days as being champion on a TV show, whatever that streak is, that's where we're at. And I feel like that would have been the better feud. I've seen Charlotte Ronda is good, but I think the real story is with Rebecca and Ronda Rousey.
I actually think that.
I don't think it's the end of it though. Sorry, Eric. I don't think it's the end of it though. I feel like there's still more to this. Like WWE could sway us because like Naomi could end up the champion for all we know.
Ooh.
And the thing about it, I
can't see that, but you're right.
I can't see it, but like that could they're gonna throw a lot of these spanners into the mix just to make you keep guessing because I don't think.
And let me be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow, some way, Bianca gets back into the title picture to have that unfinished business with Rebecca because, you know, she is the one that she hasn't beat. And I think that would be a good story because Bianca is still an upper mid card in the female thing. And you still have to figure out what you're going to do with Bayley whenever she comes back.
You've also got Asuka to throw in the mix. Apparently she wasn't in the Rumble, according to Dirt Sheets, because she wasn't physically ready. So you got to think come February, end of the month.
Let's be honest. WWE in the women's division, which I would argue is their best division of all their wrestling shows, has some heavy hitters coming out who's waiting in the background, waiting to come out there and do some stuff. I mean, I can't wait. But staying with Monday Night Raw, I would say that
Can
Monday
I
Night
pause
Raw.
and say this?
What?
If they're going to, if they do unify the men's title, I believe they're going to unify the women's title as well. So maybe we will get the Rebecca Ronda feud, and you can get the Charlotte feud, because I believe what they should do, again, merge these rosters. I'm going to repeat it every single time. Merge these rosters, and you don't have any other issues with people being like, I need to watch the A show, B show.
As much as that would be beneficial to it, I still think that there's so many people that will get lost in the shuffle because of that. Like, you would never get a Big E Kofi title reign ever again, because you've got the likes of Seth Rollins, you've got the likes of Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley all on that roster. So it's going to be even harder to break through into that main card scene if you've only got one championship.
Yeah, but I can argue now about how many people are just on the show just to be on the show and not really do anything. Like this Natty Aaliyah stuff.
It would justify getting rid of more people.
You may not,
happy people.
But you may not care about the Natty Aaliyah stuff. You may not care about the happy people and Drew McIntyre. But they are doing something. They're just doing something that you don't care about. I mean,
yeah, but
and by watching,
I would rather have a show of people I care about and you recycle it through. Similar, even though I don't think they do the best job of it, AEW, they do cycle through storylines, of which is this week, although they're all the same storyline.
No, I see, this is where I disagree with you, Marcus, because I feel like, yeah, AEW might feature the people that everybody wants to see, but it's nothing of any substance that goes on. And I mean, frankly, yes, Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre is not something that I want, but I still think it will be a solid match between them. It's just that it's a really crappy story going forward. I mean, I am siding with Manny. I don't think I really want the rosters to be merged. I think, if anything, losing that hour on Raw would make things a lot better.
Well, of course, yeah. That would make everything
also
better.
Do they need to convert the 24/7 title to the women's ICTV title?
Yeah, I think it would. I think they'd benefit from a undercard kind of title, like the European Championship, which is defending on Roy's Retro by Owen Hart repeatedly.
Well, they can always go the route of Impact, who is a trendsetter promotion, who everybody's ripped off over the years and has all their
digital title.
They can do the digital title route, in which it's for anybody. It is the title that anybody could win, men or woman. So you can have that just be like that. You have like Charlotte wrestling random people. Or, I know I just picked Charlotte, who's not champion, but Charlotte and I don't know, AJ Styles having a random ass match of some kind.
That was this week on Raw, where Rey Mysterio and AJ Styles had a random ass match.
Hey, that was good though.
Let me tell you, because like they've been showing me trailers for WWE 2K22. Is it me, or the graphics don't look that great for that game? I'm a little. I know they keep throwing the NWO in your face, and you it's hard for you to fight the temptation.
I'm worried about it because I saw the gameplay thing feature they did, the 2K devs did, and it's difficult to comprehend how good it's going to be until you get your hands on it. They've changed the control system from WWE 2K20, so they've changed it completely. So there's a lot of combos stuff you can do. The reversals, you're not limited to 5 anymore. In order to reverse something, you'd have to hit the right combination on the button in terms of grapples and stuff. So it's a bit iffy in terms of graphics. Some of the stuff they've put out does look bad. Like there's an image of Charlotte Flair coming out in an entrance that looks like PS2 graphics. I've already said on the
that's
Untitled
just
Manny
because
Marcus
they didn't have a current face scan of Charlotte. That's
possibly, but like how they've had 2 years to make this game.
But I think for me, and I'm thinking about it, and this is like always my sidetracks that I go when we're conversating. I remember when WWE 2K20 came out, and you remember they had that shot of Randy in the arena, and it was like fucking surreal. And I'm going to get back to something JK Swish said in the chat. Anyway, it's not going to be that comment. And you remember those graphics were amazing, but the game was trash. I think I would rather have better controls than better graphics for me personally. And hopefully this game can be the game that brings wrestling games back to their relevance.
As a non-video game player, I would also like to echo your sentiments of having gameplay work, because the best wrestling game out right now is Fire Pro Wrestling, which has 8-bit, 16-bit, or 32-bit graphics. And that's all you need. It's just make the game fun and controllable. And I feel like I'm the wrestler at that given moment.
Let me tell you what makes Fire Pro fun, Marcus. Not only that, they have the GMO where you get to be Vince McMahon, and then you can download all the creative save wrestlers and go out and hire wrestlers to make your own federation where people will no-show your fucking show. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Kitty Omega. I paid you to show up at that wrestling show, and your ass didn't show up. F you, Kitty. F you, Kitty.
That's because you probably had him jobbing. You probably had him jobbing to Trevor Murdoch or something stupid like that.
The question that J.K. Swish asked,
had him on the kickoff show.
He was referring to Ronda Rousey's punches. And my question for you guys, who has the worst punches?
Shane.
Ronda Rousey or the now future endeavored Shane McMahon? Marcus, I start with you. Who punches are you taking, Ronda or Shane's?
Well, who am I taking? Like, who do I want? I'm standing in the corner and they're going to give me the punches?
No,
or
who has the better punches, Marcus?
Okay.
What is more believable?
All right, so if you want me to do this on record, then I have to do it on record. Manny? What? I'm so confused.
What the hell is that? Is that like a fake Manny account or is that a real account of Manny?
Where?
The Manny Das who said Shane McCann. Like, is there somebody?
Oh, that's Twitch. We're also live on Twitch.
I was just hoping that somebody ripped you off. I was like, damn, we really made it where you got spammer accounts of Manny.
I'm talking to myself. It's amazing. And he's selling me manscaping. I'm going to say Ronda's.
No, Marcus, Manscaped is not the ultimate plug. If we get a Squarespace ad, that's where we're at. Where we can say, you can build your site with Squarespace. Look at it. The sharpshooters.com is built on Squarespace.
Yes.
Where you customize.
Our site isn't built on Squarespace, is it?
No, it's not. It's on Blogger. But if Squarespace want to sponsor us, we'll be happy to transition to Squarespace.
Yeah, because Blogger ain't did shit for us in years. Anyway.
Damn, I ain't posted other shows to Blogger in a long time. I just didn't care.
Let's go. Wow. That's why your views are so. The Frapper map. Give me the access to the blog. Give me the access to the blog.
If we get Blue Chew, I'll throw the head out of that.
we can even have Shante come and do a testimonial. Like, yes, Blue Chew has really made wonders for our life. He had a bad heart to begin with, but now his heart is strong, just like other parts of his body.
Don't you guys want to sell the hair product for men? 3 bald guys talking about hair products.
If only we had Rogaine when we were losing our hair.
By the way, whenever we return to Tuesday, it will be Toupee Tuesday. And we will be back on.
And the title of the show will be Toupee Suicida.
Anyway, enough sidetracks. It's time for me to talk about Ronda Rousey versus Shane McMahon punches. And it's going to be, I'm going to pick Ronda's punches are better for the simple fact at least she has credibility with those hands as being a UFC champion, as opposed to Shane McMahon, who's done nothing but ruin the morale of the WWE locker room and the Rumble. He killed the Rumble.
I just want to know who is going around backstage, like, collecting these morale reports.
Yeah,
like, morale is really low backstage.
Clear somebody.
I got one guy.
I want to go to some guguy. Okay, how you feeling?
Hey, Daddy, how you feeling? You know, I feel a little low right now. Cause let me just point out,
morale is down.
Cause Maddie and Marcus, you guys both have jobs and you go to work. I don't think I've ever been at work, even if I feel like shit. Even if I feel like I'm having the worst day, if someone comes up to me and says, "Man, how's your day going?" I don't go, you know what? My morale is down right now. I'm not feeling you. Everybody's going, I'm all right. Like, that's it. Even when you're not all right, you all right, because at that point, you don't want to have that conversation with nobody.
Hold on. You trying to tell me at your job, hey, anybody that's from my job that could be listening, you're at your job and you don't have lunch conversations talking about the problems and how things could be better at your job? You never had that discussion with your coworkers at your lunch?
Not my current job.
Who I can't stand? Or, if this was like this, if I ruled the world, one of those conversations, if I was running the shit, you ain't never had that conversation at your job.
Do you guys want to have a story time with Eric real quick about why I don't ask people how their day is at work?
Only if you add baby, it's story time with Eric.
It's story time with Eric, baby.
Baby!
there is this one person at my job that we all know that you just don't ask how their day is going because they will tell you. So unfortunately, this person approached me and was like, "How was your weekend?" I said it was fine. And then unfortunately, not thinking, I said, "How about yours?" And at that point,
I feel like you live a life of an RPG. Pick answers.
Hold on, pause.
How are you doing? Tell them it's okay, fine, or destroy the world.
You have been on record talking about you don't stick around in conversations if you don't like the person, and you will just walk away.
I had nowhere to go because this was my courtroom. But Manny, I will
trapped.
also point out,
You're trapped.
Manny, I was saved, and when I had the saving, I walked out. So it all proceeded with, yeah, the person paused, and then they set their stuff down. And at that moment, I realized the grave mistake that I made in that situation. And they were like, "Yeah, it was a good week of football, but unfortunately, I had to go into work. So I had recorded the Rams game, and I did everything in my power to avoid from seeing this game. And so when I finally made it home, I was going to watch the game on my DVR. But then my significant other decided that we needed to go to the grocery store."
What does this have to do with anything?
He did say it. And I'm like, "Why am I hearing this?" He said they proceeded to have a heated debate, aka an argument, over why he did not want to go to the store. So fast forward, like he leaves a lot out. He says we're at the store doing grocery shopping. So he lost. But he's telling her at this point, we can't go to this line because this person probably watches football and they're going to spoil the game for me. And I was like, "Why are you telling me any of this?" And then finally he walked away. So the next day I walk into another courtroom and I see the same.
Telling us this?
Because I see the same person talking to another one of my colleagues, telling them the same fucking story. So that's why, going back for it, no one answers the question if morale is down, whoever that morale checker is, giving reports to the dirt sheets. No one is answering that question truthfully because no one will ever admit that morale is down at their job.
Have you ever told someone something at work and then like went too far?
Yes.
It's like they told someone actually how you're feeling, and then
Yes.
at the end of it, you're like, "I'm joking, JK, only joking. I'm fine, really." I'm dying inside.
Yeah, because my tagline, because at one point, because people like to ask me, "How are you doing?" I'll be like, "I'm living a nightmare," and they're like, "Huh," and they don't know how to respond, and it becomes awkward. So you didn't go, "Just kidding." "Oh, I thought you were serious." I'm like, "Fuck, I ain't got time for that." As Marcus kids holler in the back. Yes, that was story time with Eric, baby. It was pretty bad, But something that wasn't bad, and I will say that Monday Night Raw does have going for it. I think Monday Night Raw possesses the best stress wrestling talent in the game right now, from Seth Rollins to Bobby Lashley in his red floral suit to Becky Lynch. Who
Hold on.
won
Hold on.
outfit of the day?
Hold on. Put some respect on. It's an honorable mention in outfits. I know they were athletic outfits, but put respect on Otis getting into that wetsuit. Drag Gables. They looked amazing.
He used butter, baby oil.
Marcus, you may not appreciate my story, but JK Smush in the chat did. He said he had a lady recently tell me about her divorce because I asked about how you pronounce her last name. I love people that overshare, man. People that overshare get on my nerves. I'm like, "What time are you going to be here?" "Well, I got to do this, and that. I just need to know what time you was going to be there." So, Marcus, who gets your award? So, your award for best dress this week on Raw?
Well, I can't deny it. Seth Rollins' jacket was my favorite jacket he's ever worn in his life, and I think I would wear that jacket as well.
I don't know
where.
Wear Becky sunglasses to go with it. I would wear them.
Marcus, I would say both you and Manny, if Becky and Seth showed up at the same spot wearing what they was wearing, because they were matching in so many different ways, they look like the king and queens on a deck of cards. That's what they look like. Yeah. But with a sprinkle of Elton John in there. I was very appreciative of their outfits.
But are they outfit of all wrestling you watched this week? Are they the outfit of the week? Maybe we should start doing that since everybody has to make a fashion statement. Do you have them over Hobbs? and his overalls and fur
Marcus,
coat
we will
again.
talk about Hobbs, man. We will talk about Hobbs when we get to AEW because we just have to talk about one last thing, the best show of the week that had the best moment of the week. That is NXT. And that's with Grayson Waller, a man that I think I said about a month ago, I hate it, but I also added I will end up probably liking his ass. And I think I'm going down that road already. When he had the most smooth jump over the barricade into a cutter.
That transition was beautiful. It's better than any Sammy cutter off a ladder.
Well, Manny, it's one thing when someone does a cutter and it actually works, because Sammy cutters don't work. Although they look good, they don't work. They don't put nobody out.
That cutter.
But Waller cutter put some damage on people. And honestly, let me point out, Santos Escobar was dressed pretty good this week too. That white suit where he threw the guy into the stairs. And he had nothing to do with them stairs. But NXT, Marcus, can you explain to me why do you feel NXT just keeps getting it right for us? Like, why is this the show on Tuesday that is must-see TV that no one else watches? What is no one else getting that we are getting about NXT?
Well, for me personally, the reason I like NXT is that I don't know these fools. Again, I stated this for all the other wrestling shows I've watched. I've seen these guys for about 15 to 20 years. I've seen the best of what Adam Cole can do. I've seen the best of what Cody can do. I've seen Mox or whatever. I've seen what Seth can do. I've seen what Charlotte can do, what Roman has been doing, even though he has upgraded himself. But this seems like a new batch of the future of the industry. In the next 10 years, these guys will be in whatever promotions, whether it's WWE if they get released or if they end up somewhere else. I feel like these are the future people, and I like the storytelling and the characters, and I like the feel of it. I don't know.
Can I tell you my best subplot story of NXT has to be Malik Blade and his obsession with Mandy Rhodes, and when he's back there talking to Inoue.
It's not his obsession; it's Edris's obsession with.
Well, Mandy, I don't know. It may be both. I think they're gonna tag team. They want to tag team in more ways than one.
Manny, I think Edris wants to sleep with anybody, and apparently, according to Malik Blade, the previous week he could do it. But remember when Malik was manifested, when Edris said, "Imagine what would you tell Mandy if she was and then she in the lap she popped up because Kaylee Ray was being crazy." And I think for me, I know it's sophomore humor, but when he says, "I need a minute," we all knew why he needed that minute. He had to get composure. I hope they win next week. I don't think they got a chance in hell.
He needed his dignity to calm down.
Well, we also need to point out Edris wanted to chase some women.
Who never needs to beat? Trick Williams and Edris. They don't need to beat at all because it's gonna be trouble.
I do.
They're gonna be talking about women all day. That's all.
And I would like to be in that conversation.
Manny just walks in. Mm-hmm. But what the ultimate points would have been? Would you been upset with Malik Blade or Idris and Dove if they would have jumped in and took down Kaylee Ray? They're like, hold on, you're not attacking my girl. That's a heel turn. I would have accepted that heel turn.
I would accept it immediately.
Like, dang, they just really grabbed Kaylee Ray like that.
Can we give a shout out to Kaylee Ray? Because I don't know if you guys covered this, but that epic save that she made when she was dumping the spaghetti on top of Mandy Rhodes, and clearly she had missed, but somehow she had lifted some of the spaghetti to make sure it fell on her head. I was like, man, it
spaghetti.
From the kidnapping of Gigi and JC, we may never see JC again. We may never see it. Tax and Truck might just be a tag team duo now.
I don't know. They're already tag team, and I can't believe this is how you would write off JCJ. Just because that's what appears in the thing. I felt like this plan was flawed from the word go from Kaylee Ray, and it could have went bad if one critical thing happens. And I guess that's why it's a tragedy. which is Mandy was like, I'm driving, and opened the front seat door first before Gigi and got in the back seat, because it just seemed like, oh, if she would have opened that door, they would have just beat her up and pulled her out the car.
I still need to know what happened in the car. Because they were out very quickly.
Gas.
No struggle or anything.
Man, childlike are very powerful.
You don't drive in high luxury cars like I do, Manny.
You know,
every car secretly has a gas button in which if you hit it, it would knock the people in the backseat out immediately. I know the people didn't know that.
So Melo is one of my favorite. Melo is one of my favorite people in NXT right now, and his in-ring promo with his boy Trick, because they just talking nonsense was
what
good.
Did Trick say? What did Trick say?
I don't know what he said
your
at
mama
the time.
Your daddy a bum.
Other than that, I can't recall anything else he said. He said it too fast, and then at point he was mumbling.
But at the same time, whatever he said was conviction. The thing that I was very disappointed though was with my boy Cameron Grimes. I didn't feel like he brought the energy to match what Melo and Trick was talking about. Like when Melo and Trick got out the ring, and he was like, you know what? We're going to the moon. I was like, that's all you got, Cameron? You better than this. You better.
I don't know. How you compete with Trick?
You can't compete with that. He came back with, what kind of haircut is that? SpongeBob's house or some bullshit like that.
Yeah. And Patrick, I was like, nah, man, you gotta go harder than that. You gotta go harder. He called your mama a bootlicker, or hey, your daddy a bum, and many other things. It was the one time in a wrestling promo where a black person said something and they say, I have no idea what you said, where I actually agreed with the man next to. I have no idea what Trick said.
And shout out to Wendy Chu, who's one of my new favorite people of NXT. I don't understand. I mean, she went from Mei Ying to this, and I think it's been a proper upgrade. And
the queen of snore style.
And you know what? Amari Miller, you should not. Marcus, the question for you. Manny, I think you had a question.
You keep going on and on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I said on Thursday that was the cutest match ever.
It was. But Amari Miller, Marcus, she's shucking and jiving. Women can't shuck and jive, correct?
Well, Naomi's been glowing, shucking and jiving for years now.
Yeah, but at least
before that, she was a funkadactyl.
Girl, bye.
But Tiffany Stratton lost that credit card to Wendy Chu. I hope she come back with some brand new pajamas, like she shows a pajama set that she bought.
Well, all she needs, you think it's small.
I need a bed. I need a new bed that she jumps on.
I need a giant bed that she just falls into, and it's just like watching, the Snuggle commercial with the fabric softener. I need her to fall into that, and we go into a different world of comfort right there. Just a different world of comfort. Just falling all through the softness of the bed, and you're just like, wow, this is amazing.
I'm on a cloud.
This is why I'm so glad that Shantae doesn't have the video camera, because there was another match where I got too invested into a match that I didn't, where I gave it a C, I gave it an H, I gave it an A, I gave it an S, I gave it an E, and I gave it a U. You know what that spells? Chase U. Man, my boy Chase. And Andre Chase, man, he got a win over Draco Anthony.
Maybe we need to start telling Shantae to record your reactions to things and sending it over to either me or Marcus.
Man, let me tell you. I was worried for like this. I was worried for Andre Chase. I was worried. Fuck you, Marcus. I was worried for Andre Chase because I was like, Draco Anthony, he's been getting these packages. But Draco Anthony ain't shit because he didn't get the entrance. Marcus, you were big on Draco, but it looks like
out of fatigues, damn it.
But it looks like Eldris somehow has taken the push from Draco. And how do you feel about this, Marcus? Andre Chase.
I don't know if they took the push away from him. I just feel like they are two different characters, and Draco has had one match, and you know what? Let's get that loss out the way, so you don't have to claim he's undefeated and watch him lose to, what's that toss on the gun? Who I can't remember right now. I don't know why I said,
Bodie?
No, I can't remember either of their names.
Salty
with Robert Stone. With Robert Stone.
Oh, Von Wagner.
Von Wagner, yeah.
Which was a good promo by Rob Stone.
Yeah, but I can see that's where Drake was going.
And Von Wagner opened his mouth, and I was like,
no, not you. But let's just have him lose. I'm okay with it for now. Draco was introduced to that package, and it was like, okay, I just want more. I want more. I don't want him to be GI Bro 2.0. That's what he looked like.
That's true. So, Manny, you can change the graphic. I'm done with WWE talk. Let's go to the world of AEW.
Hold on. You're not going to talk about the best spear in the game from Braun Breaker. He's still the guy. Don't sleep on Braun Breaker.
Marcus, I'm Santos Escobar all the way, Marcus. So I don't give a damn about his spear. I just know Santos ain't gonna get the title because you know what? Santos was in line to take that North American title. He was gonna take it to the moon. However, they decided to go into another direction, and now he's swimming in waters with the sharks. And I'm concerned for Santos Escobar, who may be the best current Mexican wrestler in the game right now. He ain't doing that bullshit Andrade he's doing in AEW, merging with Hardy and stuff. But you know, I just think that Santos need to update his crew sub. I don't know if his crew is really holding their part of the bargain.
That woman ain't wrestled in months.
For a reason though, Manny. For a reason.
So Manny, now we're gonna get to the brass tacks. We have a very important question for you. Rampage had one thing that happened that was so important that it spurred Marcus to a long, deep conversation. And it started off with, I would wear Hobbs' fur coat and overalls. Marcus also
imagine you in this outfit. I'm disgusted.
So Manny, Marcus also agreed that he would wear the same
You look like
outfit.
Henry Godwin in that outfit.
Manny, just wait. Marcus said he would also wear the same outfit. However,
yes, I did.
He would remove one article of clothing because in his opinion, this article of clothing did not belong with the fur jacket and the armor overalls. And he said he would be going commando with no underwear that way. Manny, do you agree with Marcus that Hobbs' outfit needs to be worn without underwear? I just need to know.
No.
You ain't a fashionista like me. You're not a fashionista like me. I'm going, if I have fur coat, overalls, and probably Timberland boots, and it's spray paint, it's a custom overalls.
Marcus,
no draws on. No
Marcus,
draws on.
You don't need denim rubbing on your deal like that.
You know, it's probably not the best for business, as they say. Probably not best, but I am doing that. No draws on. And when I'm done with my shift, bam, it's all coming out. Oh, one
sports
shot.
Bro.
One
sports
shot.
Bro. You wearing sports, bro?
No, I'm not wearing anything.
You got free titty. You're gonna free titty out.
I may have nipple piercings.
Of tassels.
Oh, now this is went too far talking about my titties, but
he gonna have those little chainmail gangs on his titties like Scott Steiner the match, like it's gonna connect and stuff, you know. Or maybe get a titty piercing to the nose, like a chain that goes right there. Like
I don't know how.
If you hit him,
yeah, you literally, for the record, you just literally turned me to Little Nas X. At this point, that's who I see in this exact outfit. When you go like, why are you doing this? Why are you provoking people in this way?
So. I know we talked about, so like going back to Rampage, I actually thought this was a solid episode of Rampage, but do you guys feel that our criticism of Dad Bod Adam Cole has finally gotten to him? Because after he defeated Evil Uno, who was waiting inside of the ring, he decided to say he ain't playing games no more. And he about this, he on that new trajectory of being taken seriously. Manny, do you like the fire that Adam Cole had, even though when he walked out to the ring, he was holding in his stomach so his definition could show in his body?
Yeah, but he needed something because he was going nowhere. Like he figured the problem that he did was he listed everyone that he defeated in his undefeated streak. None of those people sound credible. None of them.
No. Frankie Kazarian, I went, ugh. And then, this week he got Evil Uno and basically a squash match, which I was really shocked by because I thought this was going to be one of their back and forth affairs. But I appreciate them trying to give him some juice back, but they should have had him lose to Orange Cassidy. I don't care what he says about it's not on the record book. We saw that, and it takes away from him just that bit. He needs to go beat Orange Cassidy to get his win back.
Right, I think Orange Cassidy might have the most wins not on the record book than anybody. Can you guys hear the vacuum cleaner?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Shantae?
Your vacuum cleaner is possessed by ghosts. I hate
Well,
when that happens.
Shantae is vacuuming, and that's picking up. I apologize for the vacuum cleaner, everyone.
I don't hear that much.
It's not that much.
Okay.
But you do hear it. It sounds like, yeah.
So, does this mean that Evil
Marcus.
Uno is on his way out?
No.
No. It just means that he's a Dark Order member. They just won't die. They just stay around.
This bit of spam is as close as we're getting to anyone winning a t-shirt.
That is pretty dirty. That is pretty dirty.
The next match had Sammy Guevara and the now buffed up a little bit Isaiah Cassidy. This match is what it was. Is what you expect from an AEW match. Wasn't a bad match. Wasn't a great match. It was an okay match. And I guess, Sammy has to try to put some type of credibility behind his title reign. I don't think walking around with 2 titles is the way to do it. But
why is he doing this?
I don't know.
The 2 titles make him look even smaller when he's holding both of them.
Yeah, because they look like they made little belts for him.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole purpose,
little belt, little man.
the whole purpose of defeating Cody Rhodes was so that you could have both titles. I'm just tired of him doing.
See, this is what frustrates me about the 2 titles, and I saw it right away, and it was just something that bugged me. Again, I go all the way back to the Intercontinental Championship of Shawn and Razor to go back historically of why people carry 2 titles, or even Keith Lee when he became double champ, or Becky when she became double champ, or when they had the Undisputed Championship. Those other titles had meaning to it of why they existed. The interim TNT title had 1 week of lifespan. I would just throw that to the side. I would not. You're not a double champ. I don't understand why they're even portraying this. It was a stupid storyline provided by a stupid booker who don't know how to tell stories, but the same stories either he's heard already before, or 2, someone got to join their faction.
I would also say that I wish the interim championship would have got the original TNT title belt that was unfinished. That's the title I would want them to carry.
They can't have that anymore.
Oh, because they finished the belt?
They shattered that belt, remember? He shattered it.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Damn it.
Damn, that was one of my favorite titles because I thought it looked so much better than the current title. But I will give them credit. I will give AEW credit. They did a solid job of trying to tell a story when Andrade and his cronies came down to attack Sammy, and then Darby Allin made the same, and then Darby Allin was transfixed on the TNT title, because that is something that he said that he loved, and maybe it's nice to see Darby get back into the picture. Because like I said, Darby in the locker room last week when Andrade came and talked to him still might be one of my favorite moments in wrestling.
Where's your boss?
Where's your boss?
Where's your boss?
I did like the not so subtle Darby wants the TNT title look into the belt, and hopefully we get that at their next pay-per-view. Darby and Sammy, and I hope they give it back to Darby. I feel like Sammy does nothing for me as the TNT champion.
He's not
anybody but Sammy.
He's not as likable.
But I saw was the dumbest part of the match. The dumbest part of the match was Chris Jericho on commentary. Don't make me come down there. Don't make me.
It wild. I'll come down there.
And I feel like they had his man's corner. They had his man's corner. Darby shouldn't have had to make that save. I'm just saying. I was like, they must not be there on ringside or something. Why is he pretending like he's coming down there?
I just need AEW, and I don't know if they have this in their ability to do this, but I just need them to have a match where no one comes out from the back for their match. Like, just a match where the 2 people who came down to the ring are the only people that are at ringside.
For the entire segment, you mean? They've had that. You mean for the entire segment?
Adam Cole and Evil Uno. No one came down.
You're correct. You're correct. Maybe let me rephrase, a meaningful match that actually meant something.
That meant something. Adam got his groove back.
Speaking of getting their groove back, I'm going to mention this, but this is not the groove I was referring to. Manny, are you all in for Layla Hirsch beating up everybody in the faction? And I want to point out that Red Velvet has made 2 saves this week. First saving Chris Statlander, then on Dynamite saving Brandy Rose with the unidentified black woman in the company in Black History Month.
Did she make the save for Brandy? I don't remember how that segment
ended. She came out. It was helping out.
So, as much as I like Chris Statlander, this was an incredible attack. when she lined up the chair and just kneed it, I was like, "Oh, she's a bad woman. Oh, she's willing to hurt herself to hurt someone else. She is a bad little woman."
Nah, but
Manny had flashbacks of when that kid kicked him in the leg and he had to go to the office because that's what it looks like when Layla Hirsch is attacking people. Someone get this little kid out of here.
Where's your boss at? Where's your boss, Layla Hirsch? But
where's your daddy?
Daddy, little girl.
But I loved how this feud that they're trying to make with Layla Hirsch and them was followed up by the feud that's been going on Rampage that no traction has been going. That's between and Mercedes Martinez.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, Marcus.
We had a few. Layla Hirsch and all the people she's going against, I guess the world. Or Natty and Aaliyah. Because I feel like they're on the same level for me.
Layla Hirsch, Marcus, because I don't know why Layla Hirsch has had this turn of events where she hates everybody.
Yeah, she hasn't explained why she's so mad.
She's just upset. Like everybody's like, fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. It's like, well, unfortunately, it's kind of like how women's friendships devolve sometimes, where women are I ain't friends with that bitch no more. It's like, why? It don't matter. We just ain't friends. I'm like, okay.
100%. I just don't understand. It's like when you get the conversation of we don't like this person anymore. I'm like, we.
Like, what happened?
I thought they were a treat. This is one of your friends.
Manny, can we please get an explanation of why I'm not supposed to be friends with this person anymore before I get in an argument when I'm still talking to this person, but I'm not supposed to be talking to? And then it's nothing worse when you hear if they ever give you the rationale behind it, and you hear it, and you're like, this is some petty shit right here. Why are we upset over this?
I mean, me and Marcus could probably get along with that because we've evolved that sometimes the Untitled Manny and Marcus show should really just be called Salt and Petty.
Yeah, I mean, it's Salt and Petty.
I have a PhD in petty, by the way.
But let me tell you, like you guys are saying that song. Now that song is called "Flaming Hot" by Meg Thee Stallion, and I can't get it out of my head. It's ridiculous.
Ooh, baby.
Yes, because as hot as a bag of Flaming Hots, and I'm like, oh my god, I've never liked Flaming Hot chips, but that's neither I digress.
You're a fool. You're a fool and a disgrace.
But one of the best
race people.
One of the best feuds going on in AEW that gets no traction has been Thunder Rosa versus Mercedes Martinez. It's been package after package. And honestly,
in your package, you're talking shit.
Yes, I was so looking forward to this match. And then the match took a turn that I was so not expecting when Mercedes Martinez did Mercedes Martinez shit and pulled out a lead pipe and knocked Thunder Rosa out with it. But then, of course,
she knighted that bitch.
They ruined this moment by coming to find out that Mercedes Martinez was hired by Britt Baker and she might be a temporary member of some of her faction to knock out Thunder Rosa. And I was like, I just needed this to stand on their own. Stop trying to make your weak ass champion be credible. You know, fuck Britt Baker. I said that. Go ahead, Marcus.
No, I didn't understand. I don't understand where Britt Baker comes into this feud. I liked it more when she just hit her with the lead pipe. And I thought Mercedes Martinez is crazy and she's a loose cannon. She just almost killed a woman. We're going into some type of lights out death match or something. This was no. And then when they get back and they talk about, it's a hit out of Thunder, I'm like, what? This is some more of that. This is some more of that. Will they, won't they faction bullshit storyline that they try to tell? And I was like, it would have been nice if this was just an individual woman storyline that you can use on your show instead of having your one woman segment a week.
And then, but Marcus, they had multiple women segments because you had the Layla Hirsch segment, then you had the match between Mercedes Martinez, and before you got the Britt Baker situation, you got this package where we found out that the Queen Serena Deeb is not even going by the 1,000 hoes or whatever she was. Now she's a wolf and she's a predator. Manny, do you like the wolf, Serena Deeb?
Serena Deeb can do whatever the fuck she wants because Serena Deeb is the best thing in the women's division on AEW.
I think she needs to. If I'm WWE, I'm asking for a trade. I'll trade her Serena Deeb for. I'll give you Aaliyah. And Liv Morgan. And
no! You can't give Liv Morgan because Liv Morgan got to follow it, Marcus. You can't do that.
Next, they can use Mickey James.
And Marcus, then they'll be only Marcus. Then they'll be only one piece away from reuniting the Riot Squad, and you know they love to reunite things that took place in the company that they destroyed. So you know you can't have the Sarah Logan looked like she was in some type of shape that she could wrestle.
No,
Yeah, round.
He was looking like baby weight shape.
There's nothing wrong with that, baby.
You left out another women's segment. Jade Cargill said, "Green like money."
Manny, I left that bitch out for a reason.
It's her show. It's that bitch show. How can you do that? How can you do that?
She defends her TBS title on TNT.
Well, she never showed up on TBS.
And then on top of that,
she show up on TBS with the TBS title, Eric.
Clearly, she doesn't pay any attention to whatever rankings they have for the TBS title because she's going around handpicking her opponents. And I'm just like,
there is no rankings for that, is there?
I don't know. Like, if it's a title, it should have rankings. The only title that shouldn't have rankings is the FTW title because it's not acknowledged by it. And quite frankly, that was a fun main event between Ricky Starks and Jay Lethal. So Jay Lethal jobbing days of AEW is over, correct, Marcus?
This is the Black History Month match of the
blackest segment ever. You had Hobbs, you had Dante Martin. It was just a lot of blackness going on.
And all the light ones won. Shows her Tony Khan's like, I'll let black people win, but it'll be the light ones. It'd be the light ones. It'd be the house ones. Light skinned ones.
This is the first time on Rampage the main event has felt like a main event.
Yeah. Because I actually was looking forward to the match and the finish to this match. One of the best finishes I've seen in a long time that made me go, oh! And I was like, he ain't kicking out of that. And he didn't. And I was like, that was a nice.
Jay had the match won, but he had to try to land the lethal injection and showing that Ricky Starks does research. He got the Rochambeau right there. I think Ricky Starks might be one of the most underutilized talents that AEW has. And I think that
of talent there that they don't use, like what they do in Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page.
Hold on, I've discovered.
We learned that the only reason why they were talking to Ethan Page because they were trying to get the deadly weapon. Josh,
tell me if I'm wrong, Josh Alexander. Tell me if I'm wrong. If this is the only way I'm pushing you in AEW, I might be wrong. I might be out of line here. Number one, you have to be of a certain height. If you're over 5'9", we're not having you go for that title. Maybe 6 feet. We'll argue like Hangman.
There's no one. Hangman Page ain't 6 foot.
He's about 6 feet. I think he's 6.
He's 5'10".
I think he got 6.
He's 5'10".
So you have to be under 6 feet to get to the title. Your pigmentation have to be of a certain color. So
the paper bag test.
Yeah, your melanin has to be, at levels. You have to lack charisma of any kind.
If you're darker than this, you ain't getting over on AEW.
Gentlemen, you guys brought something up.
You have to have WWE experience.
Let me tell you guys. You guys brought something up. And I have come to the conclusion that I'm finally ready to rule. I've been debating this decision for a while, and it's been under submission for a while. And that is Hangman Page my champion? And after this week's Dynamite, it's set in stone. He is not my champion.
Said this numerous times. That was not a debate with you.
No, it was under.
Yeah, you put him on a countdown, 8-week countdown.
Well, the countdown is up. He's been champion for 81 days. He needs to lose that title. Currently, I think right now, in my opinion, and this is my opinion on, so if anyone wants to like anything, dislike me, I think AEW has the worst crop of champions that they've had in a long, long time. This is the worst group of champions as a whole that they've had, and they really need to do something to fix that.
Wow.
From Britt Baker to Jade Cargill to Sammy Guevara.
I don't mind Jade Cargill because she looks like a champion. At least she's out of all of them that you're gonna list, she's the only one that you could say looks like could be a champion.
And even as Daniel Bryan said in his eloquent, we have a fucking dinosaur walking around with a title. We don't need that. Him and Moxley could take over. So I'm all about Moxley and Bryan teaming up to overthrow.
Marcus wasn't. He threw my pin.
Don't tell on me, Manny. Don't tell on me.
Manny,
Go ahead.
do
Go ahead.
tell. What did Marcus do, Manny?
Don't
So
Tell
tell
me.
on me.
I was all high on this segment, and then Marcus threw me in the corner and be like, "No, I don't like it because it's all it is them fooling you into another team." And I was like,
Yeah.
you're right. You're just
But-
using fancy words and making me
Yeah,
buy
so
into it."
Manny was talking about this is what's happening and this is going on, and then I pulled my straight up Ronda Rousey, put him in the corner, put the work for him, and 5 minutes in the Rumble doing this. And so I had to put this out there that it's the exact same storyline that everyone else is in, and when should they join together or should they not join together, or should, if they don't, we cross lines and butt heads, whether you're Team Taz, whether you're in the Inner Circle, whether you're in the Pinnacle, whether you're Matt Hardy and Andrade and all that bullshit. Everybody's trying to join together for whatever reason to become the most dominant faction in the world. And the only reason you were okay with this segment, and I'm going to say, is because Bryan Danielson said it, and he is more convincing than these other lack of charismatic fools that have offered it. Because these other fools, you don't believe Taz is going to become champion or anybody in Team Taz. You don't believe that Jericho in the Inner Circle, that those people are going anywhere.
I believe in Hobbs and Ricky Starks if they got a chance, but we know they don't get a chance because of their melanin color.
No, but Team Taz is not going anywhere. They're not. They gave them the keep the title, the FTW title, a title that is not recognized in any wrestling company in the world, and made it seem like they're doing something with them. They are not. They are not. Andrade and the Private Party and that merger, that's just something that's built to collapse until Jeff Hardy arrives into AEW, where Andrade will find him a tag partner. Then you got the House of Black Foreman and Aleister Black.
Don't you disrespect the House of Black? I will point a finger at you. Don't disrespect the House of Black.
I'm pointing the finger right back at you. I'm pointing the finger right back at you. I'm pointing the finger at you. You want to play? Huh?
Why do you like the House of Black?
I got guns. Huh? Are you talking? Who you talking? Wait, say, repeat the question, Manny.
Eric, why do you like the House of Black?
I like the House of Black because I've always been a fan of Malachi Black.
They can't claim to be the king of the Black throne. I'm just saying. Jay-Z and Beyonce are still holding that throne.
I have never seen Brody King, and I think when you go into the AEW realm, he is something completely different there.
He's husky.
He's husky. He's big. And then honestly,
he's like Brody Lee with tattoos.
Let me just tell you, honestly, I like them, but the shit that they did this week with the whole Pac coming down like he was blinded and shit like that, I was like, for me, I was just frowned on AEW's medical staff that you would let a blind man come down to the ring and wrestle.
How do you get cleared?
I was like, what the hell? Did they pull the scarf off? He could see it. I'm like, I don't care.
The doctor was like, you can see, man. I don't know why you want to do this. I'm going to play a trick on them. I'm going to go out there and act like I'm
the real trick is I'm gone again in 2 weeks.
To answer your question, I really don't understand why I like the House of Black, but something about them that I like. I don't know.
I'm going to take this is my hot take. Aleister Black peaked in his feud with the Velveteen Dream, the Say My Name feud that lasted for about a month, and he has not done a good storyline with anybody since then, character-wise. He peaked with the Velveteen Dream in that match, and that is the most I've ever been invested in anything in a match that I thought this doesn't make sense. But once the story was told to me, the way they told me, and he got Velveteen to star power, only to fade into oblivion.
Damn, Patrick! Damn, Patrick! Damn
it! Damn you, and damn the people that set you up if you were set up.
He's named the wrestler that said he did it. The one that set him up.
Oh, have the name for it.
I can't remember the name, but he was wrestling at Bolo.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, because he did an interview and stuff like that. And like he ain't bitter about it, but it's like he's still bothered by it. I mean,
I would be too if there was. If I'm innocent, if I am innocent, by like if he's claiming to be, I don't know for sure, but the lack of evidence that there is to accuse me of, and that it's just really like audio clip that anybody could put together.
No, gentlemen, the thing about it is just the fact that and we all know what it comes down to race. It comes down to his accusations by him being a African-American male makes it a little bit more problematic for a company to not give him a lead, because Austin Theory had the same type of allegations against him, and now he's Vince's boy. Like they just kept him backstage. I'm not really sure if
the
Patrick's
WWE
personality backstage really hurt him, like because I hear he was kind of like Barry Bonds too. So it's a bad situation.
I think his personality and stuff worked against him as well. But I'm not gonna say WWE's at 100% fault on this dealing of Velveteen Dream or Patrick. It's just that they tried to keep him. They brought him back. They did their investigation, whatever the fuck that was. They brought him back, but then every time he would show up, it's trending online. Fire Patrick or fire Velveteen Dream and stuff like that. And people went really hard in making sure he did not ever work again. Like that's where it came down to, as opposed to the people they have forgiven over time who have evidence. It's that goes with whether it's Enzo, who was found innocent. No one comes out with that. Darby, who was accused. Everybody kind of just rolled the punches with that. Theory, Riddle.
Riddle had documented evidence to support that the allegations against him was completely false. So, he travels with those paperwork.
If there is no documentation in the first place to be like blindsided by something that you have no ideas about, how would you have anything?
Let me tell you this right now. I would love a Velveteen versus Melo feud right now. I think that would be an amazing feud. But
do you think he could ever come back?
For me personally, I would welcome him back, but I think the fans are a problem. They're the problem.
I think he's been cleared. He's been cleared now, hasn't he? Like he was cleared. Yeah. The only problem was the actual backlash because they're publicly traded and stuff. That was it.
Yeah, and they tried to keep him and cool everything down. It just wasn't gonna work. It's just people were wanting him gone, and for a company that has housed Jerry the King Lawler, who I believe chases little girls all the time or whatnot, and does whatever he does, or Ric Flair, his dick helicopter, people always want to see him work. It just seems like they went really hard on the Velveteen thing.
And maybe we don't know. Maybe he was very difficult to work with backstage. I'm not sure, but I mean, I'm glad to see that he's he's getting back into the game. Manny, since you brought up the Battle of LA, how do you feel about Daniel Garcia winning? Like, people are really big on Daniel Garcia, and I just don't get it.
Of the stuff we've seen of him, like on Rampage and main events and stuff like that, he's actually not bad of a wrestler. Like, he's actually solid. It's just his size and what we're used to seeing doesn't translate.
I don't have a character with him.
Yeah,
I feel like he's in the vein of, Kyle O'Reilly's, who I like seeing their work in the ring, but it's nothing. Your Eric, to go back to your Chris Benoit's, to like, oh, they can work, but what else do you have to me? He doesn't have the ability to pull off a segment like, and I'm just saying Chad Gable for reference, not that they have anything.
But I think
Chad Gable, who's like, oh, I have a personality too.
For me, going into the situation though, I kind of feel like it goes right back to what Bryan Danielson said when he was giving his pitch to Mox. It's just that the association Daniel Garcia is with is 2.0. 2.0 is who they're going to be. They're a joke team. They're goofy. They're not anything more. And so by him being associated with them, I kind of put him in that same league. And I don't know if he could stand on his own 2 feet without having better backing, if that makes sense.
I'm pretty sure he could. Like, for instance, if he was to be paired with Mox and Daniel Bryan, he'd be elevated as a wrestler instantly.
Mm-hmm.
So I also have another question. I have another question because on Dynamite, they had a match between Nyla Rose and Ruby Soho, and I remember everybody talked about when Ruby Soho was Ruby Riott. Oh, she deserves so much better. Blah blah blah. Quite frankly, maybe it's just me, but I feel like she's being treated the same way she was in WWE that she's being in AEW. That she might get some wins on AEW Dark, but when the lights are bright, she still loses to the established stars on AEW. Am I right, Manny, in that assessment?
I mean, it's not wrong. Like, she's not doing anything different to what she was doing in WWE. But she got a release, and if she's happy, sure, be happy. But I wouldn't be happy with my booking in AEW.
Yeah, she's being used as a stepping stone. But I'm not expecting. But then on the flip side, I think people will say you guys are being harsh if that they let all the WWE guys come in and just run roughshod through the AEW roster. Do you feel like you'd be saying that if she was winning matches?
Probably. I think we probably would. But for some of the WWE talent that have gone over, you almost have to kind of give them a year, and then make that judgment from a year from their release and go, oh, were you actually doing anything different? Because like the only person I would say that did and that made any difference to themselves while they were on TV was Miro. That was the only person. That was the only person that I could say that came from WWE and it did something different. And
he can't,
and wasn't doing the exact same shtick he was doing in WWE.
I
he became a different character.
I would like to give credit where credit is due. And honestly, I think the last thing I will talk about on AEW, I will talk about the match between Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Before we go there, can I talk about the people who are released real quick?
Go ahead, Marcus.
Again, of all the people released, I feel like WWE hasn't missed on any of them so far. It's still more coming out. It's 200 people or whatnot. But I like the ones who have and reinvented themselves, like I said, Miro, and even the person who I was highly critical of when he showed up in AEW because he really didn't do anything. But Matt Cardona has actually made a name for himself once again outside of WWE, and he's doing something completely different from what WWE had him doing, which I appreciate that. I always appreciate when they leave and they say WWE should do this with me, but then you see him leave, like let's say like Fandango, who goes into NWA and is basically playing Fandango still, and I'm like, do something different. Why not change it up a little bit?
Well, I feel like Matt Cardona is basically doing the stuff he was doing with the True Long Island story, but to another level, because like
it's heel level now.
Yeah, because the game the social media game has changed since when he was originally doing this. So like he's using it much to his advantage, and
he likes trolling everybody.
Yeah, it's fun. Like as much as I dislike him because he's got money to spend on all this shit that I kind of want.
And that's part of who he is.
It's kind of
and that's part of his
well.
persona. That he's boasting about all these stupid items and toys and posters and memorabilia that he owns and whatnot, and he's talking about I have the money because I got the WWE money, and the fact that he is actually doing Forbidden Door stuff. He's on every type of show, NWA, Impact, GCW. He showed up on Dynamite. He's everywhere, and he's put his name out there and has increased the value to his name by 1,000%. It's kind of like when EC3 was original left WWE from NXT and went to Impact.
Ring of Honor.
No, he went to Impact first.
Oh, you're talking about his first release. Okay.
His first run. And then he became EC3, and you were like, oh, okay. And then he went to WWE, and it's like, what are you guys doing with me? And then he decided to change himself again to what he's doing with the Control Your Own Narrative stuff online, and I'm more appreciative of that than people who are just like, this is why I did WWE. I'm just gonna do the same thing.
And that's the thing that I'm very interested to see, because like Karrion Kross did an interview and he said that he think he would fit well in AEW because they don't have anything like him in AEW. And I was like, what do you mean? Because from my understanding, the gimmick that he did in Impact, it was kind of similar to what he did in NXT, that they just ramped it up. And if that's the gimmick he's going to take to AEW, isn't that what the House of Black is doing right now? So I'm like, you're right. I think that if you're going to jump over to someplace else, you kind of really need to reinvent yourself and create your identity within the company that you're with now, as compared of, living off your past glory.
Yeah. And even going on the top, thinking of the top of AEW, the people who I enjoy seeing, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Mox's match, Jon Moxley is not Dean Ambrose. There's a different type. They're both kind of crazy, but they're both. Moxley is more, I want the title, and he's more aggressive as opposed to Ambrose, who was just like goofy funny.
I think this is the reason why he left WWE, because he wanted to be a little bit more unhinged than what they would allow him to be. And I think that this Jon Moxley version as Dean Ambrose would be a lot more over in WWE than what WWE did with their mild version of Dean Ambrose, who seemed misguided and is doing stupid shit. Personally.
And then you have Bryan Danielson, who you may say, oh, he's doing the same thing he was doing in WWE, but it's kind of different. It's a little bit more, you can see it in the in-ring, it's aggressive and stuff like that. And he's changed who he was in a way. Just
I
in a
don't know.
way.
He's
Not all the
kind
way.
of the same. He's kind of the same.
He's the same, Mark. He's just buying his time so he can come back next year and be on WrestleMania so we can see him in LA, Marcus. Come on. You saw Brie Bella even did an interview, said that she was overwhelmed by all the yes chats that she got living off her husband. She felt his spirit in the audience, Marcus. He is
was in
so
the back.
he is so beloved in WWE. And as I told you, there is such a different demographic in WWE when it comes to the audience makeup than it is in AEW. Like when you look at the WWE crowd, it's so mixed with adults, children, and like so many diverse people having a great
crowd. Sports entertainment.
Yeah.
It's a sports entertainment crowd. That
when
AEW
you
have is a wrestling crowd.
When you look at AEW, it's like a bunch of grown ass men. Like, that's it. Like it's not.
And who's had to bring their kid because they have to, because their wife or girlfriend
they
had
can't
enough
fucking
of
enjoy.
that shit.
They can't enjoy
It costs
it.
way too much. It costs way too much for a babysitter. It's Daddy's weekend, all right?
Would that be because
I don't want to go to the zoo? No,
we're going longer than I thought we were gonna go. But I want to give credit where credit is due. I thought that CM Punk and MJF did a very good job with their match on Dynamite. I thought they told a very good story, despite CM Punk almost killing himself with that reverse hurricanrana, where he almost put a halt to his rise. I think the right person won. I thought that they used the whole thing with Wardlow about him, skating on that edge of he might be turning good and stuff. I thought it did a very good job of protecting the finish, and I hope that this is done with, and he moves on to someplace else.
This is going to Revolution.
Did this feel final to you? This felt final? It didn't feel final to me.
Well,
this is going to Revolution.
This was just part of the storyline, and my review of this match is I thought it was a good match but it could have been better if they reversed the double losses, in which the chokeout ending was the finish to the match instead of the Dynamite ring ending that we got. Yeah. Because a man, I don't know about you. I don't know how you choke people in your personal life, but when I choke people in my personal life, they don't get up. I don't care.
Okay, like, Benoit.
Pop up.
Unlike you, Marcus, I don't admit to any chokings in my life, man, because I'm an upstanding citizen and I don't choke nobody out.
But I'm just saying, if you were to choke somebody,
if I was to choke a motherfucker out,
he's talking real. He's talking real.
If I was to choke a motherfucker out, let's just say his family probably filing a missing person report. That's what I'm gonna say. That's all I'm saying. Hypothetically, because you got to get underneath that. Because I'm cracking tracheas and stuff.
Yeah, So in this match, CM Punk was
yeah, right, Matty. I'm going like right there. This bicep.
This man has expert in biology attacking tracheas.
Tracheas, man.
I know exactly where to get you.
Because in wrestling, you're supposed to keep the chin lock on the chin. Nah, mine's always slit. And then you got to put them right there in the crook. The crook right there, because
that vein will poke out just right in the throat. It just stuck out.
I know how to get out Eric's chokehold.
Fuck you, man. You gonna say something food related? I already know it.
I wasn't, but if you want, I can go there.
My plan was to do a back kick low blow just to get out of it.
Oh. No, because you know what? From watching so much of professional wrestling and watching chokeholds and ankle locks being applied, the trick you got to fall down to the ground. The thing is, everybody try to do choke. Once you fall down to the ground, I'm 260 pounds worth of bed. It's hard to get up. So now you got all that weight on you, as I put it on you, like Sonya. Sonya made a mistake this week when she hopped on the back, and she should have swept the leg first, then choked out Ronda Rousey. But she didn't do that. If you go back and watch the tapes of how Ronda got knocked out, you would know what to do to take out Ronda Rousey. But I digress.
Eric's been a part of Cobra Kai since the 80s.
I ain't never watched the episode of that. I feel like I should, but I haven't.
You've never seen Karate Kid?
No, I've seen the movie, but the TV show Cobra Kai.
Yeah, but the sweep the leg came from the movie.
I know, but I'm all about sweeping the leg, goddammit. You gotta sweep the leg.
Illegal attack, by the way. There's no kicks to the face. So he kicked that boy to the face with the crane. I'm just saying it's an illegal attack. Didn't know it at the time. As a kid, I was rooting for him, but now I know. He should have been disqualified.
Yeah, your son was a crook.
With that being said, Yeah, this should have ended. I thought it was 5 match. Should have ended with the choke. You don't just come back from being choked out. It just seems like, what? You were dead. You die. How do you pop up when he decides to restart the match? But this feud shall continue in some type of cage match of some kind, I think, where you got to keep people away or no weapons or some type of Chicago street fight or death match or something like that.
Let's go to Revolution.
But I would honestly say that I thought it was a better ending of Dynamite that they've had in a long time, and I didn't even hate the Brandy segment as much.
I loved it.
Oh my god, this was trash.
I loved it.
Thank you, Betty. I'm glad we're.
I hate it. I hate it.
Except for the pull apart, because I saw a better pull apart on Raw's Retro.
Yeah, but I mean, I think for the most
Luna
part,
and Sable.
Let's put it out there. There's a reason why Brandy is out there, and why when WWE saw her, they gave her the microphone. She has the looks, and she's articulate on the mic, and and then Mike.
She's just as bad as Ronda on the mic.
They gave her a microphone on as a ring announcer. They didn't give it a mic to talk on the mic.
They didn't think she was
they knew the limits. They knew the limits. Just say his name, where he comes from, and how many ways.
But I feel like she did okay, and my thing of seeing 2 doses of Dan Lambert really bothered me.
I just thought this segment that was unnecessary, and I don't know what the point of it was, to be honest. I didn't understand. I'm not looking for a Paige Van Sant versus Brandy match.
I just don't understand.
I don't want that.
What I don't get is that how did Brandy and Cody sign different contracts? Because technically, if Cody's unemployed, Brandy should be unemployed too. But that's just my opinion. But I digress.
Randy took the years and not the money. Cody
we
took all the
do
money
have
and
an
not the
email
years.
from the Dizman, longtime listener of the show, and you can too email us at thesharpshooters@gmail.com. That's DA sharpshooters@gmail.com. Or you can donate to the show if you go to thesharpshooters.com and hit that donate button, because we appreciate all the money coming our way. So we can continue.
If you're not going to do that, please just share our links. That's all you got to do on your social media. All you got to do, share our links. That's all it do. Don't cost you any money. It's all our links over there underneath Marcus. Just point and right beside Eric. Just go there and share our links.
It just might cost you a little bit of credibility, because people find out that you watch wrestling, and we know a lot of you watch it in the dark, so nobody knows that. But we're out and open. We're out and open.
Yeah, we're out the closet of wrestling. We're out the closet. I tell everybody, yes, I watch wrestling. So what if I watch grown men in their underwear rub all over each other to find out who's the real victor when it's all planned and predetermined? I don't understand
why in my life, because I watch wrestling, right? And everybody know what wrestling is, but every time someone walks in when I'm in my office and I'm watching wrestling, it's always a fucking woman's match, and I just know they look at me and judge me so much.
But you can't touch.
It's always Mandy Rose coming out there posing for a photo shoot.
Yeah, it's always Mandy Rose or some scantily clad woman. I'm like, damn.
So, here's my thing about people who watch wrestling and tell people they watch wrestling. And I still don't understand the comment. It's fake, right? Whenever they go, that's so fake. But, what TV shows you watching right now that are real? Violence is taking place. What are y'all talking about?
You need to understand those type of people, Marcus. Those are people that you need to remove out of your life, because they're assholes and they just want to make you be miserable like they're miserable.
No,
because
I want those people. I like those people, because at one point they thought wrestling was real, and I like to laugh in their face. It's like, so when they found out, it was like the reveal of Santa Claus to them, and it hurts them that this isn't real, and that's why they always bring up the fake. So I'm like, every form of entertainment is actually fake. You're watching your Top Chef cooking show, yeah, that's rigged. That's probably fake, close to scripted, edited TV. Or if you're watching any of your Marvel, your Batman movies, or whatever, those are all fake. They're not really fighting. They're not fighting. I'm just saying,
I'm not gonna sit here and have you besmirch the name of Top Chef, Marcus. That comes back March 3rd on Bravo. I'm not gonna have you besmirch that name.
You need to get on Next Level Chef, man, the #1 show in America, the 18 to 49.
Have you watched it?
I did. I was in my hotel room.
Did you enjoy it?
2 days ago, and I enjoyed the shit out of that show.
Really?
Yeah, I just think it's always entertaining watching Gordon Ramsay yell at people.
Fuck. So you trying to tell me
watching him yell at people?
So you trying to tell me I need to go hop on Hulu?
Fucking donkey.
Yeah, because
I was intrigued.
I came in at the end, or whatever, and it was just, I was like, I put it on, and they were tasting food, and they were like, "Do you know how dry this chicken was? Do you know how dry that chicken was?"
So you want to hear something? You know, Naisha, the black lady on there on one of the levels. You know, the thing about her, Marcus, she never wins on anything. She's did the cooking show circuit, and she always loses. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to watch it.
On this show or some kind. I believe her team, because I think it's separated into 3 teams.
Yes, it's her team, Richard Blaze's team, and Gordon Ramsay's team.
Yeah, the teams are gone, but her team didn't fare too well.
And they never do. Naisha sucks.
You know, the reason Naisha never wins on these shows is because they do it like the justice system does jury, and they put stack a white jury up on her. They stack the white judges on it. They don't know what black food tastes like. They don't know what it should taste like. How dare they attack her on these cooking shows?
Marcus, let me get through this email.
Any of these reality shows, Big Brother, when the black delegation got together and won Big Brother, it's the only time anything's ever mattered.
Can you mute him? You have the power to mute him like that. Because you know, we have a date at a Japanese restaurant, and I need to read this email so we can go. It's the guy who walks into the place with a smile. The guy with a ton of class and style. The guy with the tools that can get the job done. It's the Disman folks' time to have fun. What's really good, Sharpies? What's really good? To begin our time together, I want to say that I like how you guys broke up my email. Last time I enjoyed Eric reading my feedback, and I enjoyed Lord Manny reading my story. Your lordship, you may have a talent for audiobooks. I mean, maybe it's just me, but something about your British accent made my story sound so much better. That's why I broke this email up into sections. I have my listener feedback with my feedback question and closing words of wisdom. After that, I have more of my marginary story. So if you guys
let me open up this email, guy. I'll read the part he wants me to read.
Yes. So if you guys choose to share duties, it would be easier for you to do so. Now then, the first thing I want to do was make an observation. Something you guys brought up last week was that the shows have a stigma. As AEW haters, I'm not sure if you guys hate AEW, but I think the reason for the stigma is because, Eric, you literally say that you hate AEW. Not only that, but you adopted the moniker as the hater. And every week there's a new, you know what my biggest problem with AEW statement? Guess what? Guess what, Disman? Guess what? I didn't say that shit this week. I didn't say it.
See? This is what I mean. You bring us in. You bring us down with this stigma.
Yeah. They're going to blame us for hating AEW. Again, I like to say, what is your biggest problem with AEW this week, though? Yeah. What is it? Because you two say that every week. You know what my biggest problem with AEW is? What is your biggest problem this week?
Technically, I don't have a big problem with AEW this week. So my smallest problem with AEW this week is their current champion, Hangman Page.
That is your biggest problem. That is your biggest problem. The champion. That was it. That was your biggest problem. You listed the champion.
Yeah, you listed all. You said the worst crop of champions they have ever had.
How dare you, sir? How dare you bring us down to your level?
But where he's at, but let me
ask a question. Let me ask a question then. Since you guys are accusing me of bringing you down to your level, why are you guys so easily influenced to come down to my level so easily? Why am I able to manipulate you guys so easily to come down to my level?
Well, we always argue and disagree and win the arguments that you put out there on your wild takes. I'm just saying, I stoop to the level.
Marcus,
by the way, and you ask me why I stoop to the level. You want to ask me why I stoop to the level, Eric? You know damn well why that I stoop to it. Manny and all the goddamn listeners we have know why I stoop to that level. Excuse my language. I live in the petty. Okay? I'm babe in the
I
petty.
will point out
You've only
once again,
the petty. Okay?
Once again, I guess you guys are trying to make me the bad guy. But when I made my statement about AEW having the worst group of champions that they've had, you guys thought about it, and then you agreed with me. You agreed.
I defended Jade Cargill.
He did.
But you did not defend the Lucha House Party. That's not them, no way. Jurassic Express. You did not defend Britt Baker. You did not defend Adam Page, and you did not defend Sammy Guevara. You defended one of the 5 champions, and the only reason why you defended her, wait, and the only reason why you defended her was not because she could wrestle. It's because she actually looked like a champion. She had the look.
How many times has WWE put a title on someone that looked like a champion?
Well, you know, I don't want to say Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, Bobby Lashley. All look like champions to me.
Because when you look like a champion, the one thing that the one question that you have to make me ask, or you have to ask me, is can I kick your ass? And quite frankly, everybody in AEW, with maybe the exception of Jade Cargill, I feel like I can whoop their ass. Just whoop it.
Jade Cargill legally wouldn't let you whoop her ass, and your wife would get in the way if you try to whoop her ass in a way too. Going like, I'm gonna whoop her ass, honey. You bet not.
Right, don't try to be Walter with the hand slapping me. You're not that person.
Oh. Oh. For the record, we talked about the AEW champions, the WWE champions. Is it 1 for 5 or something? Because let's go to Raw. You got Dana Brooke. You have
the 20. You can't.
Wait, Betty. This is a person. You might be a litigated Marcus, and you don't know it. You're gonna start off with the worst possible championship that no one even acknowledges. Let's start off with the 24/7 title.
Yeah, I started from the bottom. It goes 24 women's tag title, which used to move from show to show, but apparently they're just staying on Raw. They can move.
Marcus,
like Shayna Baszler had to take pins on every show. So can Carmella. The current United States champion, who is going through identity crisis, which is Priest, and then there's Bobby Lashley. I feel like I'm 1 for 5 out of those titles too.
Marcus, I'm gonna give you 4 champions, Marcus. 4 champions. Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns, Charlotte, Becky Lynch. Shut up. The conversation's
those
over.
are different shows. No, those are different shows.
You didn't actually.
You guys do individual shows.
You didn't include Becky in that, so I would say how many titles is that? Women's.
Oh yeah, you're right.
24/7 tag, women's tag, men's tag.
And quite frankly, Marcus, I'll stand by the statement. I would take Bobby, Becky, and Damian over any of the champions in AEW.
I give him 2 out of 6 on Raw.
I got Becky and Bobby.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Priest is okay, but he's in his identity crisis stage.
All right, really but okay, NXT. We're going to NXT.
No,
you got Mello, you got Imperium, and you have Braun Breaker.
Probably the best crop of champions of all shows. That's a good crop of
champions. Oh, and Mandy Rhodes, who may be the weakest link, but she's not.
Okay.
Oh, and Gigi and JC.
Let's go SmackDown. NXT, where is this the best crop of champions?
Yeah. You got Roman.
You got Roman. And then the rest of them, Nakamura has not wrestled or did anything of any importance.
He wrestled this week.
In 10
Charlotte.
years.
He was Charlotte.
I do not deny Charlotte's power.
Damn, you had to throw up the NWO side when you did it?
Me too. Just in the middle of the fingers I was doing. I was like, oh.
The Usos?
The Usos? Come on, Marcus.
Ooh, they do got a good set over there. You know what?
Who else are we missing? There's only 4 champions over there.
Yes.
Well, fine then. We're going to NXT UK. Rico Sanamora,
Desire,
and Mustache Mountain are their champions. And then the what's the cup? Why am I blanking out on the cup name? The cup goes to Noah Dar.
I like that, and I would say that's better than the AEW crop.
I think it's a nice big card title.
Marcus, thank you for proving my point.
I don't know why I'm blanking out.
Thank you for proving my point with naming the champions.
I don't even know what my point was with naming the champion. But who had the worst champion, and it does seem like AEW does have the worst crop, and I wasn't trying to attack them. You forgot the FTW champion, huh? Ricky Starks, huh?
That belt is not acknowledged, Marcus. Just like how Adam Cole's lost to Orange Cassidy was not acknowledged. He's not a champion. But however, if that championship was acknowledged, Marcus, I would acknowledge him as a quality champion for their promotion.
So you give him 2 out of 6.
But back to the email. In case you couldn't tell, I wasn't entirely serious with those reasons. But I have noticed on this show and the Untitled Manny and Marcus show, which airs on Thursday, is that the whole feel of the show changes when you guys talk about AEW. You guys just sound like you don't want to do it, but you have to. To me, the same fun you have when you talk about SmackDown, NXT just leaves, and seriousness encompasses the show.
Eric, wait. This man, stop overanalyzing what we do on the show.
This man got a tone synthesizer. Like, oh, their tone changed. Shit. They're not happy anymore.
We don't plan stuff like this out.
No, it's literally like, all right, let's talk about this other show. And then I
It's
talk about
only
I gotta talk about factions forming and people joining who and stuff and dives and stuff, and where I want to talk about random storylines
during the week.
Character
I think
tweaks.
during the week, it's normally dependent on me and Marcus whether we're tired or not. Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday,
and by the way, no one ever takes into account on the Tuesday show how bitter we were on those Raws. Raw, I don't think there's a show we are more harshly on than Monday Night Raw week in and week out. And besides, when there's a good Raw, we never seem to ever talk about it because we never
do a show.
And then on top of that,
bad Raws,
that Marcus and Manny both use me as an excuse when they want to talk negative about AEW when it happens on the weekend. Although this week, with the exception of me talking about their champions, I praised AEW this week. They actually put on a good show. I mean, what can I say?
I disagree.
To be fair, you guys did say last week that it's not that
you
you hate AEW, but you're just pointing out what they're doing wrong. I do see your point on a lot of things, and while I am an AEW fan, I'm not going to say that they are a perfect company. Hopefully, one day your problems won't prevent you from finding some joy in the product, and you'll be able to have more fun when you watch it and critique it.
Well, here's the thing. I think this is where I think people seem to miss it. And I think it hurts AEW fans more when we're critical of their company, but I believe we're just as critical as WWE most of the time, and probably more. Again, people don't pay attention how critical we are of Raw, how dismissive we were of SmackDown this week. We were dismissive of these shows this week. And then we only praise NXT. Yeah, and we only praise NXT this week.
We ignored literally 65% of SmackDown this week.
I think we ignored it quite more than that.
Yeah, and if you want to talk about how much we just dismiss of WWE programming this week, think about 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, and 2 hours of NXT. This is on TV. That's 7 hours, and we probably only covered about an hour of every show. Like, that's how dismissive we were.
We didn't even.
It was not a good week.
We didn't even go into great detail on NXT last week.
How harsh we were against the Royal Rumble. No one ever pays attention when we're critical of the WWE. We were against the Royal Rumble dramatically, especially the men's. The women's was like whatever.
Go back and rewatch how disappointed we were for an entire. And like, where's the stars?
But you can say one bad thing about AEW, and that's what sticks. It seems like an AEW fan, and it's like, oh, you're a WWE fanboy. I'm not really. I'm highly critical of all of them equally. And that, again, I am not happy with the Goldberg return, but I understand the necessary evil of getting this man out of my life forever right now. That's where we're at. I want this so bad. And just go away.
No, it's just like if you go out and say, well, I don't like the new Pokemon game. People be like, what's wrong with you? And stuff like that. It just doesn't appeal to me. Although the new Pokemon game is really fun.
And the political balance in which you're talking about, let's say if I go and I'll be like, I'm anti all this fucking mask shit, which I really am. I'm really against the mask at this point. And it's like, oh, I see where you are on the side. You're anti-vax too. No, I just think that the mask rules are stupid.
They're stupid. I comply with them, but I don't like them.
Yeah, they're stupid.
I think that's what people really misunderstand. It's not that the people who wear masks like mask wearing. It's not like you're out there saying, like, I'm so glad we're wearing masks or something like that. It's the fact that I understand what the rules are right now, and I'm complying with the rules. And it's simple as that.
Yeah, but the mask rules are stupid. Like,
but they're rules. I've got a 90.
And that I believe no one cares to follow. No one cares to follow. I imagine, Eric, we're in Los Angeles, one of the strictest COVID places in the world in California.
Marcus, I was not paying. I was looking at Manny with his mask inside of a mask. Look at that. Look at that.
Look at the stylish guy. I bet you it says Gucci on the inside.
Who says Nike, Marcus?
Oh, I'm sorry. He sold it.
His mask had a case.
But it's just a lot of stupid stuff. Nobody's gonna wear a mask at the Super Bowl. This is Los Angeles. No one's gonna be vaccinated up there. It's gonna be 100,000 people around that Los Angeles area, and it's gonna be insane.
How you
Yeah.
gonna enforce that? I mean, not influence.
No one
enforce
does.
that.
But the problem is that if you decide not to wear a mask and you get sick and shit like that, just don't complain about it. That's
And then,
all I ask.
Florida been going nasty for about 2 years straight, and they have a lower rate than any of these other places in the
Florida
world.
been going nasty.
They been going nasty.
I never heard that term.
Not
Florida been
washing
going
their hands.
nasty.
Not washing their hands, no mask, breathing
Well,
on
Marcus,
people.
can
and
you
they
please
have
let
the
us get
lower
through this
rate
email?
everybody
Because
else. Just saying.
it appears that you have gotten a second win and you just got this newfound energy, man. This newfound energy. Speaking of fun, the rest of my email will be more fun in it. For instance, I want to echo what I said this on the mid-cart mess page. What I said was I want to have Veer Mahan job. All that man has to do is show up, look into the camera, and he gets a paycheck. 0 bumps needed. If that joker goes to his class reunion, it'll be like, oh my gosh, Veer, how have you been? What are you doing these days? Veer ominously stares. Veer, did you hear me? Yeah, that's what I do now. Kudos to you, Mr. Mahan. Kudos to you. Like, honestly, as Marcus said last week on the show, I think I would love for Veer to walk out and then say,
I haven't said this on the show, dude.
Oh, you didn't? Well, Marcus, he said he would like Veer to walk out, have his music hit, walk out on stage, look around, and determine that this ain't it. This ain't the town that he's going to come to. And he walks back to the back.
This is not the wrong going to show up. I wanted to just be a forced thing in which someone's going to like attack Veer in his home to make him come to work.
All right, moving on. You guys were talking about iPod shuffles a couple of weeks ago, and I have a fun fact about the piece of technology. When I first started listening to this show, I was using the iPod shuffle. I had small square silver one that I clipped to my shirt. Then when that one broke, I had the small square blue one that talked. What's funny is that I would listen to it when I worked at a full-serve gas station, and it was a real conversation starter. People would always ask the same 2 questions. Wow, how much music does that thing hold? Or how do you know what you're listening to? The last question always confused me. Seriously, what did they expect me to say? Oh, I don't know. I just be blindly just grabbing songs and hoping for the best. Hey, to some people credit, they did that shit with the shuffle. They would just highlight like random songs in their iTunes library and drag that shit to the shuffle and be like, well, hope I like it.
Yeah, the shuffle wasn't designed that way. It was designed for you to just put the stuff you want to work out with or whatever. Yeah. And like these are just the hits. These are just the hits. I just want the hits of what I want to hear, like my favorites. But for those who would just go with, just give me a random set. What the hell is this, Skip?
You're a brave person. But I digress. By the way, Manny, I completely.
Did you ever discover songs you didn't like? Oh, your shuffle, and realized you kept skipping it,
or
like,
whatever. No, for me,
it's never the right time.
No, for me, it was not the song. It was when that random intro got on there. Be like, why the fuck they talking? Just play music.
I feel like there were songs where I go like, what? I guess my music changed. I don't really want this on here. Get out of here.
By the way, Manny, I completely get why you don't like Tony D'Angelo. I mean, he is Italian. What Apollo is to Ghana. I mean, he is Italian. He is whatever. Not only that, but he never, what do you call it, knows what to call something. Follow me before I get to part 3 of Mari Jannetty's story. I have one more question. Which member of Toxic Attraction is going to be the first to have a leaked sex tape on the internet? Personally, I feel like it's going to be Gigi. She strikes me as the freakiest one of the bunch, the one that's more down to get down than the others. That could be a story. Gigi gets with Idris Enofe. He falls for her, but before he finds out if her mama taught her how to be a bootlicker, we find out that there's a video of her with Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams in the cameraman hype. Man, talk your talk, Melo. Talk your talk. Anyway, Sharpies, I'm going to go, but you guys take care. Remember, sometimes it's better to end something and try to start something new. Later, guys. Side of this, man. Yeah, definitely Gigi.
Oh, I thought part 3 of Mari Jannetty was coming up.
No, there's Marcus. He segmented his show, his email like a good person with show notes, where he actually has a line break in there. That's how Manny was able to agree with Gigi right away, because he read that part trying to find out where he came in.
Oh, okay. But I guess this is about that question. I don't care.
Okay. When we last left off, my wife and I were in the car staring at the WWE Hall of Fame ring. I asked my wife if she stole that from Mari. She looked a little uneasy before she responded with a yes. What? I screamed as I looked at her with anger. Look, she replied, this is what's happened. We when we got back to Marty's place, he took me on a tour of his place. I would love to know what a tour of Marty Jannetty's place is. Side note, or what he said.
It's not
was
long.
his place.
It's just a trailer.
It's a box. I don't know how much of the guy, but I ain't no way he can afford the place he was showing me. Focus, honey. I said, tell the story. She refocused and said, so anyway, after showing off a room that looked like a dungeon and a strip club combined, Marty took me to a bedroom. I'm totally Marty Jannetty. I looked at her and frowned. Hold on, she said. Let me finish. I took a deep breath and let her finish. Anyway, she continued. As we walked into the room, Marty said, so baby doll, this is where the magic happens. And yes, it sounded just as creepy as you think. He even added a creepy laughter boot. I think I just added that. A creepy laugh, I asked. Yes, she said. Nothing sexy about it at all. I see, I replied. So, she continued, the three of us entered the room. Marty looked at me and said, why don't you get comfortable and get ready so we can do the do, mama? Who speaks like that? I looked at him.
Marty Jannetty, Manny. Marty Jannetty.
You clearly never watched enough bad movies to know we can get to bed and do the do.
I looked at him and laughed, and I said, do the what? Marty smiled at me and said in an even more creepy voice, you know, do the do. I didn't come here for that. Marty looked at me and frowned before he said, look, I paid your husband for a night of sex with you and the girls, and it's going to happen. My blood boiled at this point, but my wife calmed me down. When he said that, she said, I fell out and laughed. Then I said to him, actually, you paid for a night with me. You never said anything about sex. I let out a sigh of
Jannetty.
A lot of people, I bet. A lot of people.
Did they just con Marty Jannetty? I let out a sigh of relief and laughed. Good one, dear. After I wiped the tears from my eyes from laughter, I gathered myself together and asked, but how'd you get the ring? Oh, yeah, she said. So after I turned Marty down, he got mad and stormed out of the room, leaving me and the other two girls. I stood there, not sure what to do. So I looked around the room. You are so nosy, I said. Well, it's a good thing I am, she replied, because while I was looking around, I saw on the dresser a glass case. In this case was the Hall of Fame ring. Now, I don't know much about wrestling, she continued, but I do know this guy doesn't strike me as a Hall of Famer, and my suspicions were right. As I took a closer look, I saw a piece of paper, and on that paper, it said, former property of a heartbreaker. Do you know what this means? Asked excitedly. This is Shawn Michaels' Hall of Fame ring. That's right, she said. So what do you say we take it back to him? I looked at her and smiled and said, let's do it. To be continued.
So this is Shawn Michaels' ring. The plot has thickened. And I feel like they're going to end up in jail over this. That's the only way this ends. I was looking for that ring everywhere.
After hearing that story, I have two questions for you guys. First question, and what's actually more of an announcement. I have just been made aware that Randy Watson is removing his music off of Spotify to protest the Joe Rogan podcast. I just want to let everybody know Randy Watson and Sexual Chocolate is not going to be there.
Spotify? I don't use Spotify.
I sampled it for a minute. And I'm like, I have Apple Music. I don't need anything else. But there was a story that came across my feed that I'm confused. And I think I need to have you guys maybe explain this to me. But it may be a little bit more local to you because it was a UK woman. A UK woman complained about her being gang raped in the metaverse within 60 minutes of logging into 60 seconds of being logged in to the metaverse. Manny, how do you get gang raped in the metaverse?
I don't know.
Are you even in the metaverse?
I don't even know what the metaverse is.
It's the virtual reality in the Facebook and Instagram. And
it's like Ready Player One.
Yeah. Can you give us an inside scoop? Yeah, can you give us an inside scoop of the metaverse?
That shit is still in the box, Marcus. That shit is still in the box.
Oh, you have that?
I didn't ask for it, but I got it as a gift.
When a certain person asks me, hey, I'm thinking about getting Eric and them the Oculus. And I said, oh, that's a good idea. Go for it. So part of the reason you got it.
Really, Marcus?
Okay. It's a true story, and that's the way it went down. And the reason I said go for it was because I was like, I'm not sure if they would use it, but it was also one of the things I thought about getting you guys in your house that I chose not to at the very last minute. You need to try your virtual reality, Eric, and you need to like it and enter the metaverse. And give us an inside scoop of what wrestling is like in there, because Steph said the WWE is looking into the metaverse. And going like, what can we do with this? I don't know. I think they should do what the NBA did with their ringside seats. Put somebody in a random seat in the front row.
Would it be courtside seats?
Yeah, courtside, but ringside for wrestling.
Okay. So what you're saying is that you bring the Thunderdome back, but actually make it more immersive. That would actually be awesome.
Shout out to WWE 2K22. You can actually play in the Thunderdome. Yes.
Yeah, who wants to play in that? Who wants to play in the pandemic?
Me.
Can I ask a question, Betty? Would you have liked for them to take maybe stills from the real Thunderdome and maybe put it into the real game? That would have been kind of amazing. Like if you ever appeared in the Thunderdome in real life, then like your picture, your likeness could be used right then and there.
But then you'd have to go comply with your likeness.
Manny, I'm pretty sure when you guys agree to be part of the Thunderdome, you guys agreed to that. You just didn't know it.
Probably.
Yeah, Vince McMahon owns the name Lord Manny Hayes now. Every time we make a dime, like every time we do it, as soon as we make money, we get a letter from WWE. We would like our half. Wait, Manny's like, what?
That's why he is no longer
media rights.
That's why he's no longer Lord Manny Hayes. You didn't know he had to change his name. That's why he's Lord Trapper Jones right now. That's why he is.
Trapper Jones.
Yeah, LTTJ. That's who he is. Get it right. Put it on the shirt.
Well, my mid-card match champion, sir. Are you proud of what you've done? And are you done? Are you done? Was that the last crusade?
I mean, if I ever get called to come back, because I've seen what he's doing uncontested, where he's blowing out content just like there's no one challenging him, and he's just forcing it out now. So he really wants his back, but I just want him to know I'm not playing. Therefore, when you win, it's a hollow victory. I'm letting you win.
So, Manny, let it go. Let it go. Okay? Let it go.
I'm just gonna say it may when Maurice let out the stats, I was like, thank God I can sleep.
Yeah, but then again, and then an hour later I saw you post it again.
I'm at the mid-card match right now. I don't really see any posts by Kerry. Maybe I'm blocked.
Maybe I'm just blind.
But anyway, I thought Marcus was going for the title because I ain't never seen Marcus post that much. I
posted what, once?
Marcus, that's more than you ever post, Marcus. That's like that's like when you respond to a text message twice.
Yeah, and it's mostly a thumbs up or a laugh emoji, something like that.
I mean, he sent out multiple texts this week. I was surprised.
Yeah, I was very shocked. I was like, Marcus is growing up. I mean, in other words, he's just bored in his room up in Ventura County. That's what it is. Like, he got time today. He like, shit, what I'm gonna do? Well, let me text people. See what's going on.
I woke up to those photoshops. I was dying.
This is what happened when Marcus don't have time, when he got time on his hand, man.
Or lack of sleep. That's what it basically is. Because I don't know what time Manny got those in our time, but it's pretty late at night.
Well, Marcus, it's okay to send them late messages at night because they always like to send us late messages at the night. Hey, man, what time you want to record? I wake up. Why the fuck is it 17 messages? And then
I fall asleep and I hear ding.
and it's Betty and Ross having a conversation. And then
I wake up in the middle of a 10-bell salute, Eric.
And then on top of that, got me freaking out thinking that I'd have missed the show because I didn't see the browser. Oh, here's the show link. And I'm like, oh shit. Now wait a minute. This is for the Retro Raw show. I'm like, there we go.
Oh, Manny, are you going to display those images that I said? I just realized it. When you said the message.
You said they were unfinished, so I was.
Oh,
I left
finished. They're finished, but it's unfinished. I got lazy and say I'm done.
I think
Manny,
the only one.
Manny, save it for next week for who are making it to the end of the show so they can tune in next week to see the images.
I mean, no one ever makes it to the end of the show.
Some people do.
We told them to type "Veer is coming dirty."
Yeah, I wouldn't type that even if I got to the end of the show. If I was listening to the show, I would go,
and Manny, it's a good chance. It's a good chance that people might have typed it, but it was removed by the guidelines of YouTube, and now those people are serving a suspension because of your immature posting regiment that you wanted them to do.
Excuse me. That was all him.
But it might have been him that created it, but you're still trying to perpetrate it and keep it going.
Yeah, I've let Beers coming in a long time ago.
I'm trying to.
Beer has came. He's not coming anymore.
Something that's not will be the end of this episode, which is coming. I hope you guys enjoyed this 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Where did that time go?
You did a lot of talking, Marcus. A lot of talking was done by you.
You know what? I have a lot to express. Okay, allow me to be able to express myself and emote to you people and share my thesis of what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. Yeah, my thesis. And because I ain't done, and I ain't never done talking. There's so much. I thought I can keep talking about.
I thought Dr. Petty only did papers on pettiness, not wrestling.
Oh, he does both. He does both. But there's no more pettiness than this thing that's going on in wrestling. It is the pettiness.
You're proud
I'm Eric.
You're proud of yourself, are you? I'm thirsty for Jones.
Technically we didn't close the show. I was gonna say,
yeah. He's Eric. That's Thirst Tapper Jones.
Because I've dealt with multiple tables.
I don't even know what that was.
Where the hell have you been?
You need to update your soundboard.
I don't even know.
My God, does it feel good to say I told you so?
I don't even know what's on the soundboard, man. I do need better sounds.
Anyway, with that being said, look forward for our future content out there of Smack to the Future or SmackDown Memory Lane, which I prefer.
When are you planning on doing that?
I don't know. Maybe it come out the week of WrestleMania where wrestling's a buzz and people want to go down memory lane and have good chats and everybody's in a good mood.
It's probably gonna take place
after WrestleMania. Everybody's bitter.
It's probably gonna take place when he's in his low in his hotel room, like I ain't got shit to do. I should be sleeping.
I can't do that. I can't do that show by myself at all. I can't.
You can pull up the old footage, or you could say we're gonna watch this episode of SmackDown, Smack Daddy.